Bye.
Oh my god.
Was I too early then?
I didn't really give you much warning. Usually we do a countdown before we start this to behind the scenes magic. Usually it's a case of he's put too much coffee in his coffee.
Yeah, I might be off my tits and this one because I have put like. It's really right. Nescafe are a wanker company because of the way they operate. But this coffee, right? I'm turned into like a filthy coffee drinker. Like I went through this phase. Like I know you're in the phase still, where you're addicted to that goddamn Dolce Gusto machine, and you just live by it, whatever it demands, and you just take it. Yeah. Have you gone to the level of buying the little syrups to put in to make mental flavors?
See, I haven't bought the syrup.
You will be soon, bloke. You will be soon.
But I know. But I haven't bought the syrups. But that's because we've got one of those stands where all the coffee pods go in. And I need another stand because I have another like 6 varieties of coffee that don't fit in that. So I haven't bought the syrups. I've just bought every type of coffee they do, and I've got that instead, which is arguably worse because if you had those Grande Lungo things,
the super powerful ones, they're the ones that kill you.
Yeah, they're
that's is it orange or something mental?
Yeah.
I'm sure
it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, this one anyway. I've been buying Nescafe something barista style, and it's in a tub. It's just instant coffee. It's like £6. It lasts for ages, but it's really nice. Like I've taken to like having instant coffee a load now. I don't know, it's crazy, but I'm getting addicted to it. You don't need instant
coffee with the coffee machine because it's pretty much instant anyway.
Yeah, but this is cheaper. You get way more cups out of it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because the other ones, they don't make that much, do they? Like you can't make a massive like.
Oh yeah, no, it's only a little little cappuccino thing, a little coffee mug.
But anyway, if I go off my tits, it's because I've got like way too much coffee in this and probably fucking ingesting about 200 grams of it or something, and my heart might explode.
If I collapse and dies, because it's what time is it at the time of this recording? It is. Oh, I've lost my taskbar.
It's midnight. It's midnight, bloke.
It's midnight, and I haven't had anything to eat since 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'm quite hungry at this stage. But can
you just hide the screen? Because I want to turn my webcam off and come back in some quality.
Certainly.
Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, for the magic of the Skype disaster. So Skype shits my quality down on my webcam just for no reason because it hates me. Watch this though. Are you ready, Mr. Kirioth?
It's gone.
Okay, I'm back.
And we're back, and it is better quality than it was before.
God bless the quality.
But give it a moment.
Perfect to me.
And it'll be gone.
Anyone would think that I'm actually sitting in a place with beautiful lighting. Anyway, here we go. When will it happen? It'll lag in a second and change the shit quality. Oh,
and there we go.
There we go.
So what I was saying before is that usually when we do these recordings, what I do is we do a countdown so that we know what's going on, and I'm incredibly bright.
Hey, I cannot watch countdown anymore. It has to be.
It has to be out of 10 cats.
Yeah, I just can't watch it normally.
I can't remember who it was. One of them pointed out countdown. It's got the wrong name. Because look at the clock goes from 0 to 30 seconds. It doesn't go from 30 seconds to 0, does it? So it's wrong. It's count up, not count down.
Oh my god!
But yeah, usually what we do, we do a countdown. So it'd be like, okay, ready? Yes, ready. 3, 2, 1, record. And then there's a gap of like a second or two whilst it gets started. And because if you just start speaking the second you press it, it misses out like the first second of what you're saying. Just like if you press, I keep doing this. If you end the recording, if you say like toodaloo or catch you next time, whatever, and then immediately stop the recording, it cuts the end off. It doesn't save the last bit. So I'm afraid that all 3 dark, well, no, there won't be 3 out yet, but the first 3 Dark Crusade videos, the ends are cut off because I forgot every time. So I was like, I'll see you for the next one, and then I press it, and then I listen to it back, and I'm like,
you're a fucking amateur, bloke. You're an amateur.
I stopped doing it, and then I just started doing it again. But today, I was just rambling.
Do you use Bandicam?
Jim Sterling uses Bandicam. He was talking about it on Twitter the other day. I was like, what?
I laugh, but a lot of people do use it. It's like Fraps. A lot of people use Fraps, and people go around going, "Oh yeah, Fraps is like it just gives you raw quality files. Oh yeah, you can't do that in OBS." Raw. Also, you can do it in DxTory as well. And I'll have you know, Bandicam's terrible. DxTory, I performed extensive tests of the YouTube encoder, to the point of about 200 videos that are on the channel, which use all kinds of different encode options with using custom encoders and everything. And I came to the conclusion that it is not worth capturing in RAW at all, Because if you capture raw footage and then you encode it to whatever you do in Premiere Pro or whatever kind of encoder you use, then you give it to YouTube. YouTube shits it down to another quality. So really, you can use you can basically use the Logarith codec on DxTory, and you can use it in UVY12 mode, I think it is, the lowest quality. It makes no difference. It makes no difference.
The thing that confuses me with
anybody who claims it does is delusional.
The whole thing of, just use raw footage. If you use raw footage, you're doing it right. Well, you've got to encode it again anyway. You're not uploading raw footage to YouTube. You're editing
the idea is like you got the best quality and then you knock it down again and you knock it down again. Whereas if you start with a shitter quality and knock it down. Problem is YouTube is like, let's say YouTube's at this quality barrier. If you start off with shitter quality at this quality and encode it down, okay. But if you start off at super quality, you're still at this barrier. It's like a pointless. There's things like with color and artifacting and stuff, which you can kind of benefit from, but a lot of it just comes down to it's basically boring technical discussion. But I'm going to say right now, if you can capture at a fairly decent bit rate, so something over 15,000 on OBS at 1080p at 60 FPS, it's probably going to be okay. And you can use OBS multi-platform for additional audio streams in the video, so then you don't have to balance the audio and you can go like that. But just, I think one of the problems is with this kind of shit is when people just turn up and they just download OBS and they just click record and they're like, go, and then they throw it on YouTube and none of the audio is balanced and all that. That's terrible. You've got to balance your audio, at least do something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like this, the way this is recorded with Kiri is this just is like straight up OBS recorded to file and then uploaded, but we've already done the audio balancing beforehand,
and it's
got it as close as we can.
Yeah, and it's recorded at a
just because of time. Well, hang on, it's because it's time. Because if Kiri recorded this with all the different audio tracks and then went and perfectly balanced it, he then have to encode like hours of video. It would just be too long.
And there's also there's no point re-encoding this. Like if we re-encoded it, that would be a complete waste of time as well, because it's like it's capturing at like 3,500. Which doesn't sound like a lot.
It's low, yeah.
There's no movement. Like we're not playing an FPS game. It's not like I'm like jumping all over the screen or waving my hands about or anything. So it actually, when there's very little movement, it doesn't matter that much because you're not going to see much in the way of artifacting or anything like that. So for this, it's like we could record it lossless on separate audio tracks, but then I would have to stick it into an editing program, balance the audio, and then encode it again. But the encode would take ages, and we want hotfix to come out on like the day we record it, and like for Pubcast it's the same format, you know. We want to be able to just go, here it is, record it as though it's like a live thing, no editing, and then put it up, and it just makes it also there's a balance. There's this balance, right? You get people who are like obsessed with quality, and there is like, I mean, I used to be utterly obsessed with it, so I know like a lot about it, but there comes a point where the quality, when it's past a certain level, it's fine. Like, provided the audio's clear, provided there's not shitloads of background noise, provided there's not major microphone clipping, and provided there's not a ton of artifacts on the screen, most people are fine. Yeah.
I mean, YouTube quality isn't that good anyway. I mean, if you want super quality, upload videos to Vimeo. And if you want super duper quality, just don't upload them anywhere and just watch your own files back. Like, you captured it raw.
There's supposed to be limitations anyway, because let's face it, you could sit there and go, well, I'm just going to upload raw footage.
Yeah, but raw's stupid.
Wait for the next 18 hours whilst it uploads, because it's like 100 gig or something.
Raw's stupid, though, because if you're going to capture raw, like, use something like Fraps to get raw, or, you know, maybe you've set OBS up to do it, or something like that, or DxTory, the file size will be incredible, and you're going to need tons and tons of storage space for that. Then it's going to be loads of fucking about editing it, and it's just loads of costs that you do not need to take unless you're an idiot and just want to throw money away. It's stupid.
Well, as it is, Thursday's hotfix is 2.7 gig, which doesn't sound like that much, but we don't have the best internet in the UK. I've got 75 down and like 10 up, and uploading videos longer than that takes a while. And of course, the bigger the video is, or the longer the video is, the longer it takes to process on YouTube. Hotfix is like an hour and a half to an hour and 40 minutes. Same for Pubcast. If you slam up a video that's like, it's lossless and it's like 2 hours long, YouTube will just shit itself. It'll be processing for the next week. You just won't see it. It'll be like, oh, well, I did upload a video, but give it another month or so and you might see it. It's just
uploading losses is stupid. I'm just talking about like recording the losses, then encoding it down. You lose too much quality for it to be worthwhile to a point. But it's a whole debate. But like, honestly, you've got to do what works best for you. So there you go. There is a little mini lesson in fucking recording and bullshit like that. And I hate Skype because it makes me look shit when I'm in the perfect environment with my fancy LED lights.
It's not too bad now. It's actually not too bad.
It's still not as good as it was.
Yeah, I think your preview probably looks worse than it is, but it's all right on it's all right on OBS.
Screenshot it me and send it me. I demand to see it.
Mid-recording screenshot.
I demand to see. Can I make a pose? Oh, have you already done it?
I've already done it. I'm too quick for this. I've got a treat blow. In between recording Hotfix and Pubcast, I got a treat. It arrived in the post.
Hang on, I ain't looking at that shit. I can just see a bit of a box. Wait a sec, let me look at this. Oh no, my hair's all over the place. But there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does look better than what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
what would you show me, Blake? What would you show? Remember I'm on the other webcam, you fuckhead.
There you go.
What is this?
There you go. Oh, it's a Necron Battle Force.
Oh.
I did it.
What's in it?
It's got 20 Necron warriors, 1 Ghost Arc or Doomsday Arc, depending on how you want to build it. And it's got 5
What is a
Immortals.
Doomsday Arc? I've only ever seen Ghost Arcs be used.
Doomsday Arcs are apparently very fragile. They're basically just a massive gun. It's an open top skimmer, but it's got a huge gun attached to the front. And I think it's like strength 10 AP, some AP 2, something like that. It's
like a Vindicator, basically.
Yeah, but it's got a decent range on it, but it's very fragile and it gets binned almost immediately. It's like 170 points, I think. And it's a risk of just capitulating
I've never seen
straight away.
them.
And the other thing, because you need a leader for this stuff, obviously, I've got a Catacomb Command Barge, yeah, or Annihilator Barge, depending on what you want to do with it, but it's going to be a Catacomb Command Barge, because I need an HQ, because you can't...
Annihilation Barge sounds solid, though.
It does. There is a formation in the Codex, which is 2 Annihilation Barges and a Doomsday Arc, and it looks quite good, but the Doomsday Arc is just like, it could capitulate hardcore. But I need something that is capable of taking out your Imperial Knight, so I might have to look at that, because that thing's going to be horrible. Well, a squad of 20 warriors probably could take it out because they've still got that stupid rule on their Gauss flayers.
Yeah, but you know what I noticed, and it's pretty funny. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a formation for Cult Mechanicus, which basically involves most of the shit I was going to buy anyway, and just makes them better and gives them all these crazy rules. Like the center of it is a Knight Crusader, and I'm like, oh, well, that sounds interesting because that's what I've got.
That's just part of the formation.
Yeah, it's just in the formation. It's like Imperial Knight Crusader, and then there's the Castellax battle robot guys. There's 2 groups of Cataphren servitors, but I've only got 1. And then there's like, well, this was I haven't got the information with me, but I think it was 2 troop choices, and it had to be breachers and the other ones, and the robot, and then whatever. Yeah. But it was quite ridiculous. It was like, well, that just seems like, oh, like you'd be crazy if you were doing that to not have it. Like, I think the Castellan robots, they look like Ed 209. The guns on their arms do, but I think having them as close range might be better because they come with flamers or something on them. But their close combat is pretty ridiculous. And the guy, I think he can repair them and all kinds of shit. But he's really solid. The Datasmith guy, he's like some sort of fucking mental champion guy anyway. And the Magus Dominus is dead powerful. They were saying he's like one of the most powerful like HQ models in the entire game. He's just he's mental.
Does he do a load of buffs, or is he like all about kind of power, as in like close combat or ranged or whatever?
He's both. He's both. Like, he can repair all the Mechanicus units, things that have got Cult Mechanicus on them. So, like, if it's Skitarii, you can't, but Cult Mechanicus stuff he can. And he's got a ton of weapons on him. And I think he can fire them all at once, all his weapons and some other mental shit. And I'm sure he strikes at Initiative 10 as well. Because it comes with data spike. He's like ridiculous. He's totally ridiculous. But his model is dead good. Like, really good.
That's the one with like the cane, isn't it? He's got the cane, and he's kind of got all the like the what are they called, mecha dendrite things coming out of his robe and shit. In the yeah, and he's got like a massive axe. It looks like he's standing there with a big axe. Yeah,
and he's got like all kinds of fucking fancy weapons. I think he's got a Volkite blaster or something attached to him, which is like some sort of super powerful Horus Heresy thing or something. He's got a load of shit. He's totally ridiculous, and there's a little formation you can do with the Castellax I'm getting them all confused. The fucking robot guys, what are they called?
Are the big guys the Castellan robots? They've got...
Castellax is something different. That's
Is that Forge World Castellax?
Yeah, Castellax is because you get like Thanatars and whatever. Hang on, let me just load the fucking website up. Because I've ordered some of these and I'll be painting them on the stream on Wednesday. They are Castellan robots. That's what they are. Castellan robots. See, because I've got the battle servitors. Castellan robots. It's one of those weird ones where the model has grown on me. Because when I first seen it, I was like, it looks like an underwater diver suit guy. It's a formation though.
Let me show them what this thing looks like. There you go. This is the guy.
Like that's a unit. Like those two and the guy is the unit. It's not just like one robot. That's the unit.
Yeah. So the only thing I don't like is the head. I like everything else, but then you could paint the head to look like, however you like, really.
Yeah. You could put like some mental glow. I might use that crazy green paint in it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, my Necrons are going to have the... Because apparently you can get away without using the Decurion detachment, but it's like you're mental not to. Especially if you've not played them before, which I don't think my old army counts for Necrons because it was when they were first released. And everything was metal and they had like 4 models. So that...
Yeah, but can you use some of the other models that you got, the old ones, if you still got them?
I haven't got them. I might still have the Monolith, actually. But the paint on that is so thick. Because I painted it. It's like one of the first things I painted. It's not a good paint job. I guess I could strip it down. But yeah, it's that Decurion detachment just gives like +1 to all of you reanimation protocol rolls. So when your Necrons get blasted off their feet and they're dead, at the end of the turn you can roll to see if they stand back up again.
Yeah.
And it just does it. It just does it for all of them. It's a bit mental, really. You can make it even better by giving them a Cryptech guy. But you can't do that with the Decurion detachment unless you take a Royal Court, which is really expensive and is just like a Lord, an Overlord, and a Cryptech, which is really pricey because they've all got like special artifacts and stuff. And there's lists that revolve around using 2 Royal Courts for all sorts of bullshit. Like you basically got invincible units and they come in from deep strike and you can just do whatever you like and it smashes people, but it's really, really based on random chance, even more so than Warhammer 40k usually is.
But bloke, when a true miracle of technology is unearthed, does a tech priest from your filth go and fucking will go to spectacular and bloody lengths to retrieve it? So a miracle of technology.
No, I have to admit he does not do that. He just floats over in his stupid barge.
This is the one. This is a formation, right? This is called the Holy Requisitioner. Yeah, this is a tech priest dominus, right? So that is the main man, the big man, not the shit man, the main man.
Yeah,
and then 2 or 3 Cataphron breaches. So this means that my HQ can be the Holy Requisitioner, right? So
it sounds solid.
It does sound solid. It's the tech priest man with the 3 breaches. Now the breaches, they're not close combat, right? They're like anti-armor, anti-elite. That's what they are. They're not like the destroyers, because the destroyers are like, they're like devastators on steroids. The destroyers are, but they've got like a wide range of weapons. Yeah. These guys have got a strength 10 close combat, but it's only 1 attack, so if they can insta kill pretty much everything, if they get that off. Their other weapons though are D3 wounds basically attached to them, and they're all like they're kind of like melter weapons, but they don't have the melter rule. But they're pretty long range. The torsion cannon, they've got 2 of them, and then the heavy arc rifle. They're just designed for like blowing. Like these guys have got range. This is like, it's weird because they're called breaches, and it says that they're like heavily armored for like siege operations sort of thing. But they're not close combat. Like you wouldn't send them in. You'd have them you'd use them like tactical like, marines or something, like firing at range. You wouldn't just go in. It's a bit weird. But anyway, this little formation you get is it gives them all deep strike, which is pretty good because these guys, you could set them down and then you could, like, the breaches would kill like a land raider. If they shot a land raider, it's probably going to die because they're rolling D3 wounds on their, I think it's AP2, the torsion cannon. I'll have to check that, but it's like it's ridiculous weaponry. It's going to blow armor away, like. But their deep strike is a bit specific. It isn't like you can't just deep strike wherever you want to go. You can only deep strike within 6 inches of an objective marker. So if you're playing an objective game, you could suddenly have a horrendous, like, 250 point batch of boys just there.
appear.
Yeah, and they're like really solid. Like, you wouldn't kill them in one turn.
See,
unless you were Eldar and cheated with D weapons or something.
I like the idea of that, but there's something that I'm actually going to be getting because I just really like the idea of them. I need to actually read up on whether they're any good, but I think I'll still get them. Necron Death Marks, which are crazy because they can just follow.
They're the ranged guys, aren't they?
They can follow people through deep strike, and then when they land next to them, they fire at them and they hit on a 2+. If they jump in and fire, then they get like a massive bonus to their shots. It's like, I just really like that as a mechanic. It's kind of like someone's going for a deep strike, but you've got this unit that admittedly is only good for countering deep strikes, but I kind of like that there's something in there. It's like, as I was looking through all the Necron stuff, this is what kind of prompted me to give them a try, is when I had them all them years ago, they were just ranged like Space Marines they didn't look like Space Marines. That had a crazy rule on the Gauss Flayers. That's all they were. And all the weaponry exactly the same. They couldn't do close combat worth a damn because even the Overlord was like Initiative 2 and had like 1 attack. So there was no point even trying. And you could summon the actual Nightbringer onto the table, which was like stupid.
Well, the Satan.
Yeah, but not the shard of the Nightbringer, the actual Nightbringer, the guy himself.
God.
So he was the only close combat thing you had, but he was literally a god. So most of the time, if you got him in range of anything, he wrecked it. Because, well, it's actually a god walking around the battlefield. Not even a fragment of one, it's just the guy. So, but everything else was just ranged. It was just Space Marines, but with a crazy rule on their weapons, where if you hit a vehicle and you got a 6, and then it was a glancing hit. That's all it was. And I was looking at them again, and at first, when I first looked at them, I was like, I don't know, these look a bit weird. They look a bit dodgy. The lore's been messed with too much. And then I started reading more of the lore, and then I started looking at what their actual guys can do. And they've just got funky stuff everywhere. It's like, it kind of reminds me of when I played Orcs. Like, it's not that kind of comedy, like, random rolling stuff, but it's like this special rules showing, like the Death Marks that can follow through deep strike and have got the special bonus when they attack. You got the spider that can go around repairing stuff. You've got they've actually got like actual proper hand-to-hand combat guys now. So they're not just useless, because that was the other thing.
Those are Lich Guard guys. They look pretty good, actually.
You've got the Lich Guard and the Treyarch Praetorians. Apparently the Treyarch Praetorians aren't that good, but the Lich Guard, like if you give them sword and board, are supposed to be really good. There's actually proper like a variance of tactics, and you've got fast stuff as well. Now I got put off.
You know what? You don't get fast attack with Cult Mechanicus. Well, I say Cult Mechanicus. It's Cult Mechanicus and it's the Scutari force because you can just use them together. But all Cult Mechanicus stuff, there's no fast attack.
Yeah, you kind of got
but there's
for Scutari.
Yeah, but you don't get any of it for. It's all just slow shit. Like,
so
if you wanted
if you
like
just went Cult Mechanicus, it's like your big like lumbering army that just sort of drives. I mean, that's what Necrons used to be. They just used to foot slog forwards. That's all they did. They didn't have any transport. They had the monolith, but it was like the monolith was really, really expensive. The guns were like,
I don't think the monolith is that good anyway. From battle reports and stuff I've seen, the monolith is just there as a comedy thing. It's like, oh yeah, 14 armor all around, and it's got the gate, hasn't it, where it just insta kills things if they're near it.
Yeah,
but it's just like, it just gets killed from range all the time.
It's better than it was, but it was really crap to begin with, and it seems to be not taken now either. But like the idea of having tomb blades, like I like the idea of tomb blades. Apparently they're fairly mediocre, but that wasn't even a thing before, and I quite like that. They've actually got a proper unit that is a jet bike that is designed for harassing stuff, as opposed to the old approach of Necrons, which was walk forwards until you're within 24 inches and then stand there and hope that everything's dead before you get charged, because that was literally the entire tactic. You had the Wraiths, but the Wraiths were metal and they cost 10 quid each, and they could be taken in squads of 1, but they died instantly. They just died. They were really crap. You had the Flayed ones, which were crap and are still crap, but now you've got other choices. You know, you've got stuff that's like close range, like the Tesla carbines on Immortals you can take, that if they hit on a 6, then it instantly deals a wound, I think, for the Tesla stuff. There's just so much more variance. And the fact that now, I was looking around for paint jobs, and I was thinking, I don't want to just do metal, because everyone just does metal, and I've already done metal, because my entire army was just spray painted silver, and that's all it was, which looked horrendous, because there was no shading or anything, because I was like 13 or something.
Jesus.
But I was looking around, and now because you've got all these different dynasties and stuff, which at first I didn't like because it was like, oh, they're trying to make them more human. But now there's actually a reason for the Necrons to look different. Before it was, if you didn't have like silver Necrons, then what the fuck were you doing? Because all Necrons are silver, because that's all they are. They just get up out of the earth and then they walk towards you and shoot you, and that is their law. And it was like, I kind of liked it at the time, but then the more I read the other stuff, I was like, oh, so you can actually, like, these guys can be a different color, and it makes sense, and you can have your own law, and they can actually have a bias towards using certain units and stuff because that makes sense for their
Gives
like,
them more
race.
flavor, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's like, I think it was implemented in a bit of a like heavy-handed way.
I thought it was funny because it always makes me laugh. Like, who's the guy who's the it's a stupid Egyptian name, and he's like it's dead laughable.
Yeah,
You'll know what it is.
It's Imhotep.
Yeah, Imhotep.
Imhotep the Storm Lord, which is like a terrible name. But
yeah, I've got more formations here. So here's one which is pretty funny. This is the cohort Cybernetica. Now this is the formation on this is a Tech Priest Dominus, so that's the main guy, and then 2 Castellan robot maniples or manipulars or whatever they call them. Now that is the 2 guys, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 4 of the Castellan robots and the Tech Priest Dominus, yeah? And, well, yeah, and 2 of the Data guys. Yeah, and 2 of the Data Smiths. So it's like 6, 7, 8 really powerful. Like, that is a really powerful thing, right? But it's a formation. Yeah. So if you're fucking stupid and this is how you want to roll, this is what you get. So you get Adept of the Cybernetica. This formation's Tech Priest Dominus counts as Cybernetica Data Smith, so he's actually upgraded. He's a fucking even more ridiculous. And for the purposes of the Castellan Battle Protocol special rule, furthermore, as long as this Tech Priest Dominus has not been removed as a casualty, any Castellan Battle Protocol that you choose at the end of your turn, so that's kind of like like Space Marine tactics.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or like orders from Imperial Guard, but you just choose them and they just happen. It takes effect immediately for all Castellan robots in the thing. So instead of doing it on like it would be specific, just everyone gets it who's with him. And like honestly, I don't know how you would kill this. I honestly don't know how you would beat this. I'm not going to get 4 of these guys anyway because it's like dodgy. But this is like something which moves really slow.
Yeah.
But you just could not attack it. Well, you could, but it would be like
dodgy.
It would be suicidal. They've also got targeting override. So in the shooting phase, any number of this formation's Cybernetica Data Smiths and all the Tech Priest Dominus can choose to direct the fire of one or more of this formation's Castellan robots instead of shooting. So they can shoot the robot twice. The robot can shoot and then they can shoot it again instead of them shooting. Now, obviously, these things can be equipped with heavy weaponry. But each model that does so, one of this formation's Castellan robots can shoot at a different target as well. So it's like a massive ball of just like horror show. But then you get elimination manipul. Manipul? I don't know.
I think it's manipul. Yeah.
Manipul. I think it's manipul. Yeah. So elimination manipul. This is 2 to 3 units of Cataphren destroyers. Now I don't have these. These are the tank guys. I've got little tranctors, but the ranged ones with 1 to 3 Castellan robot manipul. So again, you could have like 6 Castellan robots with this if you wanted to. It's going to be expensive if you had 6, right? When you fucking up. But they get this thing called elimination volley, where if a Castellan robot from this formation scores 1 or more unsaved wounds, glancing hits, or penetrating hits on an enemy unit with a weapon that has the Luminogen special rule, all Cataphren destroyer units from this formation that target the same enemy unit add 1 to their ballistic skill characteristic, and their weapons gain the ignore cover special rule. So what that's doing, that's giving you Tau marker lights, but you just ignore cover as well.
Jesus Christ.
So it's like Christ alive. Like they're weird. They're like weird, but a lot of them center around like you need a lot of robots and shit, and they're expensive to buy. It's like that would be like £100 of models just for the robots. Like
some of the formations for the Necrons look really good on paper, and then you look at how much it would cost to actually put them together. Like there's a Necron destroyer. I think it's Necron destroyer wing or something like that. But it's 3 groups of 3 Necron destroyers, which are like I think they can move 12 inches, and they've got like a Gauss cannon instead of a Gauss flare. They're like £30 for a pack of 3. So just to make that formation, you're literally looking at £90, and it's like, holy shit! Okay,
the Electro Priests are like that for these guys. You only get 5 in a box, which is really dodgy. because these are like they're almost like cultists. You know what I mean? But you only get like 5 in a box.
I thought they were like elite infantry, not little guys. That's a
They're
bit
little
crazy.
guys. They're kind of little guys because you can have them in like groups of 15, and it looks like if the bigger the group, because they're only you may include up to 15, so you can have them in 15.
Yeah.
The things I've read on the internet, they've said it's a bit shitty how they're in a little box because things like Skitarii, they come in like a 10-man box.
Yeah.
And Skitarii Vanguard are pretty good. Like that's what I'd have as my troops. I wouldn't have just the standard Skitarii guys. But these Electro Priests, they are like pretty squishy. They come with an invuln. I think they've got a 5. Yeah, they've got a 5+ invuln save, which I think can be beefed up with like with refractor fields and other shit like that you get with the guys, and they generally be both units. But their crazy rule is they can just kill you. They just hit you when you die. It's like unless you've got Eternal Warrior and you don't die from that. So they're not. I mean, look at the stat profile. They're strength 3, toughness 3 with no save.
Yeah,
so how is that an elite infantry to you? You know what I mean? It's like you need 15 of them because if they get shot with a volley of fire, you're going to lose some because you can't rely on a 5+ invuln save to save you. I mean, what the hell? I mean, okay, maybe you've beefed it up to something a bit better, maybe a 4+, but I mean, still, it's not. It isn't very good.
I really thought they were like the kind of elite close combat infantry. I had no idea the stat profile.
The robots are the Castellan battle robot things are.
So the other thing is, Games Workshop's pricing is just crazy to me all round because it's like the Necron Destroyer. I know, but it's like the more you look at it, the more crazy it gets. It's like the Necron Destroyer Squadron. I've got the Necron page up here. It's 30 quid for 3 of them right now. This is a model that has been around since I played Necrons. Now, admittedly, they were metal to start out with, but they'd shifted to plastic by the time I stopped doing anything with my Necron army. Yeah. So this model's been around for like 10 years, maybe more. I'm not really sure. It's been a long time. They're still 30 quid for 3. Necron Tomb Blades, which are infinitely more complex. Like, they are way more complicated. The casting
are those the guys that are like on like they've got like a scythe almost and are like flying on like a little hover,
they're like curved over and they've got little engines
like a crescent moon kind of thing. Yeah, they look quite nice.
They're 24 quid for 3. But they're far more complicated. They just are more complicated than the destroyers. The only difference is they don't have any of that like really shit see-through green plastic with them.
I hate that stuff.
But that can't add like 6 quid to a box when the components are so much smaller and more detailed as well. Because there's not a huge amount of detail on the destroyers. The only bits of detail come from the actual bodies, which are standard Necron bodies. I think they probably share bodies with another group. So it's like how is that 30 quid when the Tomb Blades are 24 quid but more complicated, and the Wraiths, which are by the look of it a bit more complicated than the Tomb Blades, only £28.50, but still more complicated. It's like the pricing doesn't make any sense, and that's the only thing that is still bugging me. It's why I don't really shop on the actual Games Workshop website. I look to see what I want because they have the best way of browsing the models, but then I immediately go to a third-party reseller because I'm like, I look at it and I just think that doesn't make any sense and it shouldn't be that much for what it is. So I don't want to pay that. And then you end up going to like Element Games or what's the other one? Triple Helix or whatever, and having a look there because it's like it just doesn't make any sense the way they've done it.
I think their CEO said something. Also, guys, this is like just podcast, so it's random, so you can take the 40k and love it. I know everyone loves it anyway, but the the CEO of Games Workshop said they're looking at keeping their prices consistent. It said, but they want to have more options for people. So whatever that means, maybe it means smaller boxes. Yeah, bigger boxes. Like it probably means bigger boxes for more money. That's what it probably means, with like a slight discount, maybe. Because they have done that sometimes, haven't they? Where they've give you like something which is actually cheaper than what's on the store. Because they went through a phase, didn't they? They go like, oh, here's like a Space Marine, like whatever formation, but it's exactly the cost as if you bought them all individually. So it's like, what the hell is that? Yeah. That's not safe.
It doesn't make
they should tempt you and give you like a free unit, but they did it, didn't they? With some of them.
Yeah, they did. That's the thing that like kind of again, it's just another example of like the crazy pricing. It's like the Necron Battle Force is the Ghost Ark by itself is 31 quid. The Death Marks were like 20 quid, so up to 50. And then there's a box of Warriors, which are like another 22. So the Necron Battle Force is cheaper than buying those things separately.
Yeah.
But the Judicator Battalion, I think it is, or is it the Canoptech Crawlers? One of the two. That is just as expensive as if you bought all of the stuff separately. And it's like, what? Why would you give a discount for one thing for it being a bundle, but not give a discount for another thing for it being a bundle? Like, why are you not applying the same thought process to both? Because it's not a huge saving on the Necron Battlefords. It's only a few quid.
Yeah.
It's like £5 maybe, but it's still a saving of £5. But if you go and buy one of the formations, you're paying full price, but it just arrives in one box. It's like, it's weird. I think they need to just make it consistent. I think even that might help if it was consistent, and you could look at something and go, I understand why that is more expensive than that. Like it was clear that, you know, there's a reason for it being that much more expensive, but for like it's just not at the moment. It's just crazy.
I mean, if I just give you some examples of some of these, this is why I kind of like the Mechanicus thing, because it's not that complicated. Like, there's not that many units, so it's not like here's a shitload of things, and here's a shitload of war gear, and a shitload of stuff. It's like, what the hell am I building? You can, even for an idiot like me, you can kind of think, well, okay, that'll be all right as a force. Like, you don't necessarily have to go crazy into loads of like theory crafting on fucking, you know, whatever website you're on.
Of that.
Well, you've got, so this is why the Castellan robots are a bit ridiculous, because the robots themselves, they're strength 6, toughness 7, and have got 3 wounds, and there's 2 of them. The Datasmith, he's got 2 wounds. So like that group there is like 6, 7, 8 wounds, and it's only 3 models.
3 models.
And it's high toughness. 7's a pretty high toughness for the robots.
Yeah.
And you can give them in-run saves as well with like refractor fields and shit if you've got those on the guys, which you will have. And the Mechanicus something cohort whatever means all of your war gear is free. That's one of the benefits, that you just get free war gear. So it's like, off you go then.
Hang on,
you just get free war gear for your for your characters, obviously.
So you're just playing like paying base model cost, and then the upgrades are, that's mental.
So, but that's like, it's quite a big formation. Like, it'd be expensive to build that. Like, well, I think that's the one. I think that's the one with the Imperial Knighting, actually. But yeah, so but even if you didn't do that, so even if you paid for it, you can start giving them in-bun saves and all kinds of shit. So it's like, what the hell? It's pretty like, it's because I mean, it's like the Tech Priest Dominus himself. His stat line is not that impressive until you give him all the shit, and then he's absolutely solid. I mean, he's weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 5, which is pretty high. But apparently, you can get his ballistic skill ridiculous, so he always hits. He never misses.
It's such a good model.
Strength 4
up on the screen. It's so good.
He's toughness 4. He's got 3 wounds. He's initiative 3. But like I said, he's got like the data spike and shit, which just hit at initiative 10 because he doesn't care. 2 attacks, leadership 9, and a 2+ save. So it doesn't sound that good on paper. But when you give him all of the war gear, he just turns into a complete fucking nut job.
Yeah. He looks like a nut job.
He does look really good.
He's got so many arms, and I really love, something I love is the cane, like the it's like a Victorian style cane that he's got, and that, I think is it that Volkite blaster, is that pistol? It looks like an antique but like futuristic pistol he's holding.
No, I think it's a Gamma Blaster or something like that. His pistol is.
All right, and the Volkite is the other one.
The Volkite's the big one, I think.
It looks so crazy. It looks really good.
Yeah, Volkite Blaster is, you've got yeah, I'm sure it's a Gamma pistol he's got. Yeah, Gamma pistol. Yeah, I think it's a Gamma pistol.
I will say that despite the mental pricing and the fact that it's frankly confusing to look at a lot of this stuff sometimes, the quality of the stuff that Games Workshop's producing now is so much higher than it ever has been before. It's been so much better.
One of the other benefits, I'm like, I can't remember what that bloody formation's called, but it's coming back to me. One of the other benefits as well is Get Hot no longer applies because it's the glory of the Mechanicum or something ridiculous. And a lot of their weapons are, what it just reminded me is, because I'm looking through their ranged weapon profiles, and you've got your plasma culverin things, which are plasma cannons, 2 shots, gets hot, but it won't because you're in that thing. I think you can give them to the Skitari Vanguard. Thing with these guys, a ton of their weapons are all like AP2, AP3. So they're just like ruining anything with like good armor saves, which is pretty fucking good.
It does seem
these were Butcher Marines, and Marine equivalents, I think.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Necrons, I think, are pretty much Marine equivalents. But
they've got the additional save, though. That's the thing with them.
They've got the additional save, and they've got like mental stuff with the weapons, and you know, they've got crazy things like the death.
Yeah, I've got like mental visions of turning up somewhere, going, "Right, boys, let's have a game." Most people have got Space Marines, and I've just got this army. which isn't OP, but it's just like a murderous army. You just like die.
What was
that? You're dead. Now get out of here.
I kind of want to do something similar. I want to turn up with something crazy. I don't know what piece of war gear it is, but a friend of mine plays Necrons, and his Necron Overlord has got a piece of war gear, and I can't remember what it is. I think it might be the Void Reaper or something that can just outright murder you. Like, you just stop existing. So if
it's
you
like
go,
the guy from Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, it's like if you go one-on-one with
what?
like a chapter master or something, and you get I think it's like a 6 and they have to fail something or something like that. But you can just take them out of existence. So it's not even like Eternal Warrior doesn't save you. Nothing saves you. You just don't. You're just not there anymore. You essentially get like thrown through like a hole in space and just never come back. It's like, it is very much like the guy from Age of Sigmar, but I don't know.
I mean, talking of Age of Sigmar, did you see the bloody the big guy? I sent you a link to him. I'm just trying to find his stats page.
Yeah, you know what?
I don't know what he was. The Lord
That's...
Celestant Prime. That was it. He's like the Super Lord Celestant. Yeah, Celestant Prime. So these are his rules, right? While Kirioth's finding it, I'll just read his rules off because they're stupid. Like, they're really stupid. I mean, Age of Sigmar's stupid anyway because the rules are just ridiculous. Like, it's fun.
No, he's not on the main website yet, is he?
No, he's like on the Leaks website. I think he'll be on that NAFCA thing. But he is. So he can move 12 inch. When Kiri shows it you, it is ridiculous. It's a guy on a base as big as Lord Nagash. If you've seen him, it just looks crazy. It's like this is my dinner plate, right? I mean, he's like really and he's big. Like the guy is like in the fucking air. It's totally ridiculous. Like, but the stats for this are just like so OP. You've
Leaked
never
images, the Celestant Prime.
You've never heard anything this ridiculous. So if anyone plays 40k. Or any Warhammer, Age of Sigmar rules are a bit different, but you'll get the gist of this.
There we go.
So
I'll switch
he can move 12 inches, right? Which is fine. He's got a 3+ save, he's got 8 wounds, and he's got 10 bravery. And he can fly, obviously. He can fly, which just means he can just fucking... nothing blocks him, like terrain doesn't block him. So he's got 2 weapons. The first weapon is Galmaraz. This is his, like, hammer thing. No, hang on, I don't know what this is, Galmar has, because he's got the Comet Strike Scepter. Whatever that is in his hand, that must be the hammer thing. I think
Galma is Galma has the. It's something crazy like it's kind of like 2 characters in one or something. Like, he's in the celestial realm, but he can also come down here to help the Celestant Prime or something. It's something.
It's one of his weapons. Who knows? So this is. It's got 2 attacks. It hits on a 3+ and it wounds on a 2+, which is pretty ridiculous. But then it's got a -3 rend, which is like in Age of Sigmar, rend means you lose one of your armor save, and most things have only got. Like a 4 armor save, so you're down to like a 1 armor save, so you're rolling a 6 to save.
I mean, if it's -3 and you're on 4, wouldn't that just mean you just don't get a save?
Oh no, yeah, you wouldn't get a save. So I mean,
just take it off.
Just you're screwed. And it's damage 3, so it inflicts 3 wounds when it hits you. So it's like, oh, so if this guy fights anybody, even like the biggest, baddest, super fucking legends with 3+ armor saves, they're gonna be in a fucking world of hurt. But then he's got his Comet Strike Scepter. Now, this is even more stupid. So it just calls down a comet from the heavens. And in true Age of Sigmar fashion, it just happens. There's no, like, roll or shit. It's just a comet view boy. It says pick a point on the board, and within 24 inches of your man, and then you roll a dice, and any model within the dice's range just takes D3 mortal wounds. So you could imagine Mr. Kirioth's, like, imagine this batch of boys, when there's, like, 30 of them together. I'd just go, there. The middle, and it's coming in there. There's no scatter dice. Then I roll, and it's a 6. I'm like, you've just taken about 80 mortal wounds, sir.
Yeah, just ridiculous.
Oh, I've lost. GG. It's so stupid. But it's like, he's got even more stupid shit. Like, and we will get onto games in a second, guys. He doesn't even start on the table because he's so stupid. He starts in the fucking celestial realm, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And instead of coming in there on turn 1, every time he waits a turn in there, he gets harder, bloke. He just gets harder because he's fucking mental. Because Galmaraz, like you said, the thing from the Celestial Realm, it just becomes more powerful because he's getting angry. So each round, decide whether or not he will enter the battlefield during the movement phase. So he's not coming in this time because he's biding his time. But each round he stays in the Celestial Realm, he gains 2 additional attacks with Galmaraz. Now, Galmaraz already starts off with 2 attacks. So round 2, round 3, he stayed there. Now he's coming in with 6 attacks on his weapon that -3 rend. 3 damage. It's so stupid. It's like, okay then. When he comes on though, you've got to set him up 9 inches from the enemy, and he can't move any further after he's come down. But every model within 12 inches of him lose 2 bravery because they're so fucking scared. And I don't blame them because you'd be like, oh, fuck.
It's just ridiculous.
And then it says, this is even more stupid. Once per round, the mystical energies that swirl around his feet grant him insight. You can change one die roll of your choice for the Celestant Prime.
It'd just be the comet every time, wouldn't it? Oh, well, I didn't get as many wounds as I wanted, so I'll just re-roll it. Oh, look at that.
I got a 2.
Army's dead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if that isn't like Age of Sigmar's funny, but now like because I sort of came away a little bit from 40k and just sort of started looking at Age of Sigmar, thinking, oh, it's a new shiny thing. I really like the models, but then now I'm getting back into 40k, and you look at the rules of 40k, and then you look at Age of Sigmar, and you see something like that, and it's just like, you know, if Kiri came to play me and I had him on the table, I've won. I don't even. You'd have to get really lucky. You wouldn't even get near him because he just blasts you from range.
I don't think I'd be able to do anything about it. Or like, I genuinely don't. I think I'd just get wrecked, and it'd be like, well, okay.
Yeah. So where's the fun in that? Anyway, let's talk about games. Mr. Kirioth, what have you been playing this week, good sir?
Well, we've been playing quite a bit together. We've done the usual World of Warcraft, but we talked about that last week, so I won't get into that. Did a bit of World of Warships last night. Again, still World of Warships, still pretty good. I did have a blast on Diablo yesterday when the patch dropped. That was actually not too bad. Like, it's still Diablo. We said in Hotfix, it's like it's still just Diablo. It's not really changed anything. But what I will say is the new area, which I cannot pronounce because it's got its typical Diablo naming, Sesfabregas, where you find the cube, the old Heradric cube, which isn't the Heradric cube, but it is. That's actually quite a nicely designed area. Like,
who's that Zoltan Cruel man? I forgot who he was. Like, what's he part of? He's part of the old, like, no, he's not Nephilim. You're Nephilim, aren't you? He's the Heradric Order or something like that.
Yeah, he's when you go
Herodrim, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, and when you go into there's like the big temple full of like swirling sand and stuff, and you have to go into 3 different areas and then you fight him again because he's pretending to help you, but all the way through he's helping you. He's like, yes, go over there and kill that thing. And you're like, I wonder what's going to go on here.
Blizzard's so good at story writing.
So he comes back and he turns up and he's like, oh, there's this artifact of great power. You should go to Session, where the barbarians were. And you go in. It's actually quite a nicely designed area. It's like it's
the guy who designed it, he died, and that's what the Canai's cube is.
Yeah, it's named after him.
Yeah, but he made the area. Like he designed that area.
It's actually it's quite well designed. Like I think it's one of the better designed areas for Diablo. Like the way they've done it. I mean, obviously it changes every time you go in there. But do you remember the ramparts where you've got that kind of big castle area and there's a bit of snow, but it's mostly demons and fires?
Yes, yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's almost got like an abandoned winter stronghold kind of feel to it. There's a lot of snow about. The mobs are like snow themed, so you've got like a Yeti style thing. You've got some of them spiked guys, but they've got massive icicles sticking out of their back and stuff. It's a nice looking area, and the design of it is, even though it's more kind of the same, it is a bit refreshing because it's kind of like a nice little twist on something that's fairly similar, but it's been tweaked in nice little ways. So it kind of reminds me of that big castle with the ramparts, but it's got its own kind of unique little flavor to it. And they've stuck like books around so you can hear more about the barbarians and what happened to them. And this is like their stronghold, and it's obviously been completely wrecked. And a load of barbarians died defending it. And as you walk around, there's like little ghosts walking about. You can't interact with them, but it's like the ghosts of barbarians who died fighting. It's quite nice. And as always with Diablo 3, their patches always are good quality, and this one's exactly the same. It's like they seem to have learned from the launch and the kind of backlash. And now whenever they release something, you might not like sit there and lose your mind with excitement, but you will sit there and go, oh, that's pretty good. That's a good idea. And then you'll play it and it'll be polished and it'll feel nice and it'll be a quality of life change, or it'll be something relatively major like the like Kanai's Cube. And it's always a good experience. That's the thing. It's like I feel like I've done Diablo now. I doubt I'll go back to playing it in any big way. Probably until the next expansion comes out. I don't think I'll probably touch it until then. But even though I'm not like, oh my god, I've got to play Diablo, just taking a look to see what the new patch was about yesterday, it's still a really nice game to play. Like it just I think it always will be now. I think they've got it to a state where you could go away for a couple of months, come back, and you'd find little changes, or you'd find a new area, and you might not find yourself excited by it, but you will sit there and go, that's nice, I like that. They've done a good job there. Like, that's what it just feels like for every patch they do, and for everything they add into the game, you just kind of like, yeah, that's good. Well done. But it's still the same grindy stuff, so if you're not there to, grind your heart out to get a 0.2% upgrade on your weapon, then it's probably not going to be that.
Yeah, I've seen people on Twitter talking about like, oh god, the update, we're going to stream it and all this stuff, and and then you see like comments like, it seems to be really easy to get to the top level in Diablo. I don't know what that is like, whether there's some sort of way of getting there quicker or something, but
there is. There's quite a few ways you can do it. You can have someone boost you, which is incredibly quick now. You can get from 0 to 70 in probably 70, 60? No, it's 70.
But it kind of makes sense, to be honest, that does, because you don't even messing around at low levels.
This is the thing, it's like, now that they've introduced the adventure mode and the bounties and the rifts and the greater rifts and all this kind of thing, people don't really want to be just doing the story and over again. And like, the point,
I think the
Diablo
biggest
3
realization
getting
was
to the level cap, is it? It's getting to the point where you can grind your gear. So,
and when they started changing the gear, so it actually changed your abilities to give you different play styles, or maybe use this ability because it does this now. That was a good move. Like, yeah, I just like whatever. I may look at it, but like I said, these guys who were streaming it and stuff, they were like, "Oh, I've got to the top level now."
Yeah.
So what am I doing now? And you're right in what you're saying. It is fun getting different play styles. And I think it's fun in little short blasts. But if you were seriously going to sit there and be like, okay, I'm going to try and min max for this drop, because you get weapons drop, wouldn't you? But it like, oh, that's rolled low on strength. It can actually get 2 more strength. So I'm going to fucking farm for the next month to get the one with 2 more strength. But maybe it won't drop. That just seems insane to me. Anyway, Margo, Black. Margo. Unless you've got any last words.
No. I agree.
So I played, this was Sub Sunday on the stream, which is twitch.tv/unlost. Check it out. Open Red Alert, or OpenRA. We played this ages ago.
Yeah.
Well, it's way better now, but it's different. Like, they've balanced the game, and they actually hold like competitions and stuff. And I played maybe 3 or 4 games of Red Alert against the viewers, and I am really good at Red Alert. Like, I'm good. And I thrashed them. At one point, I beat it was like a massive game, and I just beat everyone. It was beautiful. It was an absolutely beautiful performance. Red Alert is it's these old like RTS games have got like a charm to them where it isn't about being like, okay, I guess it is about understanding build orders and stuff, but because we were all like not relatively new, but we know how to play the game, obviously. And like I said, I'm fairly good at it, but I don't know build orders like I would for StarCraft, for example.
Yeah.
It reminded me of when I was at high school and I used to play Generals and 0 Hour with my friends. That was the same thing. We never looked at guides or anything online. It was just, we'd get together and we'd play a big group and we were all decent and it would be a good game. And it was refreshing to play games like that again. So I played a ton of Red Alert, which is just Red Alert. It's Red Alert. It's adds some like minor things, like some of the, I think, Red Alert expansion stuff, like the Tesla tanks for the Soviets and the sniper for the British and things like that. Kind of things you get in Red Alert too, I think, but they were in Red Alert from whatever the expansion was called, I forget. And then I played Dune 2000. Now this was really interesting. Well, it's not hilariously, but sickeningly, Twitch capitulated because it may have been hosting the Counter-Strike thing, which had a million viewers or something. ESL 1, yeah. And so Twitch was just like, it fell apart. So I had to cut the stream short, but I carried on the game. The game lasted for like an hour and 10 minutes or something. I put a picture on Facebook. It was a really long game and it was insane. It was a 3v3 and the war, I've never experienced anything like that. It was just such a ridiculous war on such a horrendous level of warfare. I mean, the thing on if you go to the Facebook page, you'll see the stats. I've got a game up at the end.
Yeah. That's interesting. What's this going to log me in as? It's logged me in as myself. Damn it. Hang on.
Yeah, I think you can post on it though, can't you, as yourself? I thought you was like a moderator or something, because you log in as yourself on it, because I'm like Stylosa unit lost.
Yeah, but it's logged me into my personal account.
Facebook user bloke.
I had to go in so that I could
go in.
Well, yeah, I had to log in so I could tell people about the baby and everything. But now it means that all my stuff's in. No, hang on. Let me log out and then I'll find it, because Yeah, go away, Facebook. How'd you log
Just
out
show
of
your
this
personal
shit?
Facebook off, bloke. Go look at this.
I'll pass.
I fucking hate Facebook.
I know. Really...
I hate the way people like talk to you and like they're like, oh yeah, there's so and so going on here. I read it on Facebook. Or have you heard about so and so is having a kid? I read it on Facebook from somebody's fucking Facebook update. I'm just like, I don't care. Go away.
So
Go away, please.
that's literally my Facebook entry was just something along the lines of, after years of silent having an update, we're having a kid, and that was the entire thing. I was like, and now I'm never coming back. Goodbye. Okay,
Goodbye.
Here we go. So we finally have it after hours of messing. So the
so the stats are beautiful, man.
Kill. Okay, so let's just go down the list. Stylosa, Team 2, kills 487, deaths 360. Crispy, who was on Team 1, 436 kills, 430 deaths. Christ. Mars Bar, Team 1, 357 kills and 318 deaths. Vaccine, Team 2, 247 kills, 355 deaths. God, that's not a good ratio, is it? Padrino has got 190 kills and 215 deaths. And what the... Scable, who is a really dark colour. 241 kills and 280 deaths. Christ.
This was insane. Like
that is a massive, massive war.
Dune is it's not a simple game. It isn't like Red Alert or Command and Conquer. It's you can ramp up your production in like mental ways. Like it's all about collecting the spice, obviously. So you've got your harvesters go out to get the precious spice, and you can build carryalls which will go and collect them and bring them back, so they get the spice faster. But the spice keeps coming back. It doesn't. It's not like the spice is there and it's gone. Like the spice renews pretty quick. But like you can have shitloads of harvesters going all over the map because they're really quick at bringing the money back. Then you've got like your factories. So your light factories, your like heavy factory, your tech buildings, and all this stuff. But you can have a starport, and the starport orders in units from your home world because the whole like lore with Dune is you're on Arrakis, which is the place where the Dune comes, the spice comes from, which is like the most horrendously beautiful substance ever known to anyone. And the Emperor is like he allows the great houses to fight over control of it, don't they? For control of the spice.
Yeah.
And you've got Atreides, you've got Harkonnen, and you've got Ordos or Ordos, or whatever you want to call them, and they all go in and just try and kill each other to see who's the big man on Dune. So you get like your reinforcements coming in. Now it's expensive, but because you've got a massive economy, because that's the way the game works, like you can get loads of money, you can like order stuff in like an absolute beast. So you're putting orders in for like loads of tanks and shit, and they're just constantly coming down, and it is like a massive war of attrition. It was almost verging on like Planetary, well, not Planetary, not Supreme Commander styles of like this war is
just like hordes of you just walking like into each other and just going on a massive fight and it never ends kind of thing.
I mean, I was Harkonnen, so Harkonnen are like the I guess you could call them evil, but they're just brutal. They're not, well, they kind of are evil, I suppose. They're like the Imperium. They're like the Imperium. Yeah, all of them are dodgy.
In their own way.
Yeah. Harkonnen are kind of like the Imperium of Man from Warhammer, where they're like polluted worlds and they're like brutal and they fucking use like loads of dodgy shit. Like they use banned weapons in their devastator tank. Like it fires fucking, it rips, I think it's like subspace weaponry or something, like rips holes in it's like fucking stupid. And all this crap. It's like banned shit. You're not allowed that. Atreides are like, and they also get the Death Hand nuclear missile, which isn't that good. You think it was, oh god, it's a nuke. It's like a tactical hit. It may blow up like 1 or 2 buildings or something. It's not like some insane nuke. Not like Command and Conquer 3, which had a nuclear missile which blew the whole base away, which was crazy. And an ion cannon, which did the same, which is like a massive fat ion cannon. Then you've got Atreides. Now, these are, like, you could maybe say they're the good guys, Atreides, but they're not really good. They're just more of, like, the honor-bound society. They're like, oh, yes, like, we're Atreides. We're not scum. We're like knights. We're gallant and whatever.
Yeah.
Their special vehicle is the sonic tank, which is lightly armored but fires like a sound pulse, and it does like a shitload of damage for all the stuff it hits. And their like super weaponish thing is I think it's the Ornithopters or Orniraptors or something. It's like they look like
it's Ornithopter.
Yeah,
they look remember that from the book.
They look like what's this? You see them down the canal, dragonflies. They look like dragonflies, and they drop like an airstrike, and it's fucking powerful. There's a lot of damage. And I think they get the Fremen, I think, is their special infantry, who are like the guys who live in the desert. on Dune. They're like natives.
Yeah.
And they've got crazy blue eyes. Have you ever seen the film? Because I think they suck the moisture out the air. They should really make a new Dune film. That one was shit. They should, because it would be fucking great. This one as a film. I forget what the Harkonnen get. They get like a solid trooper guy who's dead solid. I forget what he's called.
Like a cyborg type thing.
Yeah, he's got like a big minigun. He's like some fucking murderer.
Like
and then, yeah, and I don't want to know what Ordos get, but their special unit is OP as shit because it fires mind control drugs at you, and it just converts your units. So you're coming at them with like Devastator tanks as Harkonnen. Like the Devastator is like the hardest thing in the game. It's like, yeah, I'm coming for you, and it just fucking fires this missile at you, and suddenly it no longer works for you. It just turns around and starts firing. And the Devastator tanks can go critical if you're unlucky, and they blow up like a little nuclear bomb and blow all your army away. It's just like, Christ. So if you've got like 30 of them coming, it's like, yeah. It was, honestly, I really enjoyed it, and I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did, because it was just one of those things where I was like, oh yeah, I want to check out Dune 2000. Just because, you know, it isn't regarded as like the best Dune game. I mean, people prefer the older Dune, which is the really horrendous one. I think it came out in 93 or 4 maybe, but you couldn't group select. You had to singular select units.
Oh god,
it's like Warcraft 1 where you couldn't do it. Dune 2000 just took the game and just made it better basically. And then you had Emperor Battle for Dune, which is a good game and really underrated. But honestly, Vogue, I really enjoyed this. It was just such a stupid like gaming experience. You know, where it's just like, I felt like I was playing with my mates again back at school, where we were just sitting down playing, and none of us were like super good, because you can see by the kills it's fairly even. Like, though I won, but it's fairly even.
Your team won. Your team won.
Well, I got battered. No, I got Mars Bar ruined me, and I don't even know how I survived, because I was just like, I was my entire army had died in this massive war, and I was like, oh no. It was kind of like StarCraft. In StarCraft, when you get like a concave of units, and you've got units in the middle, the units that are concaved win, because they're all firing in.
Yeah.
And then the batch of units are not doing as much damage. It was like that. I'm moving across with a massive army, but he was there, and I'm like going into the jaws of despair, and my whole army's getting destroyed. I'm like, oh no. And then my base is getting ruined. I'm like, oh god. And then I'm getting bombed, and I'm fucking all kinds of shit dropped all over my base. And I'm like, shit, because I'm thinking they're just coming for me, because I know it's me. It'd be funny to kill me. Like, but I managed to hold, and in the end, there was victory. It was beautiful. Well, yeah, but I really enjoyed that. I kind of want to play it again. I really enjoyed it. I mean,
I haven't played Dune 2000 for a long time. I
played it on Face Off Friday. It was probably the last time you played it.
I don't know how long ago that would have been now. A long time
Yeah, June 2000, a year ago.
God.
Yeah, February last year. So that was... Hey, that did really well. It was as well.
Oh, it did.
We should really bring this back, but... work out a way of doing this so it's simple to do it. So all we've got to do, in fact, there's your job, bloke. I'll give you a job. Work out a way of doing this so it's just simple to do. I don't think doing the perspective is worth it.
No,
it'll take too long.
That's the big problem. I think that's what slowed it down a lot, is that to really kind of to make it how we wanted to make it, we had to keep switching perspectives, which means both recording the footage, and then one of us encodes the footage, then sends the footage over to the other one, who then puts it together with their footage. Then you edit it to make it into a coherent video. Then you encode it again, and then you upload it. I mean, you're essentially looking at like 2 encode times, 2 upload times, which is double what you'd normally do. And it doesn't sound like probably sitting there thinking, well, that doesn't sound too bad. It doesn't. It might not sound too bad, but there's also multiple things that could go wrong. Like if the file transfer fails, or if the encode fails, and then you got to do it again, and then you got to wait for the other person to then do their part again. And
it's weird. This is, I'm like watching the video back, and it's when we started this off, didn't it, with like quality of production and stuff. You can see it does look really good when like the intro that comes on, and then you've got like the little faces that come up in the bottom where it's like, whose screen you're looking at, and it is worth it for that. But the problem is it worth it for the time investment? This is like the big issue with YouTube. It's like, yeah, sure,
because
it could make it again, but it means that whatever day that's recorded on, it would be me who'd have to do this because of just the encoding times, because it will encode fast on my computer. It would. I'd be gone all day, and this is like been a hellish situation I've been in before, where we'd do this, and then I'd stream, but it would take me from the recording of this, maybe we recorded it at like 11 o'clock or something. It'd take me till like 5 o'clock to actually get the whole thing finished and uploaded. And then I'd go and stream and I'd be really kippered from it.
And that's the big problem. It's like
there's got to be a way of doing Face Off Friday easier. There's got to be.
Yeah. Because I do enjoy it, but it's as you say, it's just like it's such a time investment, and
in that format,
yeah, and it's one of those things where if something goes wrong, then that is literally you for the day. Like you have to, you don't want to scrap it. You want to make a good video out of it. You know the content's good because you recorded it not that long ago. You know that it make a good video, and so it's like, oh, the encode's failed. Oh, the transfers failed. Oh, the quality of this is really crap. What the hell's gone on here? Oh, it was a problem with the encode. We'll have to do it again anyway. There's any number of things that like genuinely can cause a problem with getting the stuff out. And it's like, okay,
let's do a live brainstorm. How do you think we can do it then? So if we do like, I like the intro, but I'm not sure what I've done with it. But I can probably, in fact, we could probably just rip the intro off one of the videos anyway.
I like because
it doesn't matter anyway. We could just download one of the videos from the YouTube channel and cut the front off.
Yeah,
the sound, I guess we could just use. Although I think that bleeds into the start of the video because then the stats thing loads up, but the stats thing takes too long to edit.
Yeah,
so it's not worth having.
Also, I think what we should just have is stop being accurate almost instantly. Because I think there was a couple of occasions where like one of us had a problem, and so it was like. It wasn't really a loss, but it wasn't really a win either. And then it was just like...
it's crap. It should just be on a weekly basis. What it should be is because we had like a massive victory thing at the end, which comes up in the middle of the screen. That's okay, I suppose. But having all the stats was pointless. Like we should just have like the Face Off Friday intro, and then like maybe our two faces come on the screen, and then just explode or something, and then that's it. And then it's just one person's point of view. If it's two. It take it too long. Although, does it take too long now? Let's think about it, because
part of it taking too long before could have been down to the fact that my machine was not capable of doing the encodes.
Yeah,
like your machine would be a lot quicker for encoding it.
Well, I've got
like
the final product now from what I had when we did this.
Yeah, and I mean yours was faster before. Yours is still a little bit faster now. Mine though is so much faster than it used to be. It's not even funny. Like I
think yours is a Devil's Canyon i7, isn't it? Mine's a.
Yours Sandy, what is it? No, not Sandy Bridge.
Yeah, it's Sandy Bridge Extreme hexacore, so it's faster. It's much faster for encoding. But
yeah,
I'd be okay with your CPU. But yeah, but I think hang on, if we recorded our own point of views, because
I can encode a lot quicker than I could before.
Yeah, but you could record the two audio streams, couldn't you?
Yeah,
so I could just like
OBS.
Yeah, in fact, I could just use OBS and just record the game sound from my point of view.
Yeah.
And just disable my microphone. And provided we did something to sync it up, then you could just chop and change. Because the way I used to do it was I never used to, I didn't watch through the videos again to find points of interest. I just randomly chopped them up.
Yeah.
Because then it would still only... You see, the thing is with pre-rendered stuff from OBS, because you've already made the MP4, it's already encoded. It kind of encodes faster than like a raw AVI would.
That's the thing is when we first started doing it, we weren't using OBS, we were using DxTory. So
we should trial it and see what happens.
Yeah. If people... the only thing is that when it comes to stuff like RTS, I kind of feel like you want them to see both.
Yeah. I think okay. Let's say if it makes sense seeing both scenes, screens, then we need to do it because you got to think it has to be good for the viewer, doesn't it? See, because ladies and gentlemen, when we say things like "is it worth doing?" and it's time consuming or whatever, the overriding thing is if it's if we're playing an RTS game but you can't see my point of view, you just see Kiri's. Well, that's no good, is it?
Yeah,
because the whole funny thing would be like if Kiri was absolutely destroying me and you could only see my screen. You would want it to slap to Kiri's point of view where he controls the whole map and there's just me in the corner and think I'm doing okay. That would be funny, make for a better video.
I think, was it maybe the last couple of Dawn of War 2 Retribution videos we only did one point of view? Or did we switch between those as well? Because in both of those, I was...
Oh, yeah, it was you recording, it was just your point of view.
Yeah, because that was like... See, that was... In a way that... This is going to sound bad, but it doesn't matter as much... if the person whose point of view it is winning, because you've still got that comedy thing of look where he is on the map, look at how much of the map he's taken up.
It's also allies as well, and you can see you could see where I was as well.
Yeah, there's no like frame of reference though. Even for that, thinking about it, there's no frame of reference. So it's like it might be like on my screen. It's like, oh, look at Kiri, he's got the entire map. But then again, if there's nothing to like give the opposite view, it kind of loses the impact, doesn't it? Because it's just like, oh, he can see the entire map. What you really need is you can see that I can see the entire map, and then suddenly you can see that like you can't see any of the map. Like that's what kind of creates the punchline, and that would be missing. So, but then again, actually,
some games work all right though. Like the fighting games or whatever, where there's just one perspective and you can see everything. That they would just be like literally, you could just press record and that would be it.
Yeah.
See, because I still like the little faces in the corner.
Yeah.
You know, where there's like a face.
The one I think actually the ones where it's like RTS games and stuff would probably not be too bad now. They'd be a lot better than they were, because I'm thinking that when we first started Face Off Friday, and to a degree when we stopped doing it, because it was actually quite a while ago. We did a couple for season 2, but then it was like it was still taking ages to do, like all day to do. Since then, like since we first started it, both of our connections are better, so transfers are quicker. Like a lot quicker than they used to be. My machine can now encode stuff at a sensible rate. So if it's like a half an hour video, it'll probably take about 20 minutes to encode. Whereas previously, if it was a half an hour Face Off Friday, it would take me an hour and a half to encode it. Which, I mean, that is just an insane delay. Like that's you literally can't work with that. And we worked with it for a long time, but that's probably a big contributor to what kind of killed it, because it was like, whenever we did it, it was just this knowledge of, well, like you weren't able to do anything with the footage until I had that done, and there was literally no way for me to hurry it along.
Yeah,
and I couldn't send you the raw footage because at that point we were still using Doctore.
Still couldn't send the raw fucking footage now. Anyway,
well, no, we couldn't send the raw footage now, but I don't know. There could be. It's worth a try.
I turned my light off. I was messing with my remote.
It's got so dark here now that I've got the gain all the way up, and it's still gone a little bit dull. Yeah, we're gonna have to give that a try. Keep your eyes peeled.
I had some strange feedback about Face Off Friday with people. They thought it was UFC. You know, when I changed the faces, like I photoshopped their heads onto like UFC fighter bodies.
Yeah.
Because I thought it'd be funny because it's like showing people having a fight. But
people were like, I really liked that.
It was, but it just didn't work because people were like, I never watched this because I thought it was UFC. It's like the thumbnail needs to be different. You know, it needs to be obvious that it's like versus the two faces versus each other sort of thing.
Yeah. Although
anyway,
this is what, ladies and gentlemen, UFC was quality. It was a pain in the arse to record. It was so dreadful, like trying to get into a game together.
Yeah.
I mean, the first when we, because we did in fact, thinking about it, I think we only did one. No, we did a couple, didn't we? Yeah, we did. We did a couple of UFCs, but the first one I think was.
That was where Full Trade came from.
Was it a random gameplay one, or was that a Face Off Friday? I can't remember which it was, but it took so fucking long. Like, it really did take a long time, because the game itself was in, like, a shit state. And PSN, I think, at that point, PlayStation Network or PS Plus, whatever you want to call it, I think it's still PSN, isn't it?
PSN,
that was absolutely... It was just shit in the bed constantly. Like, we'd try and connect to games and it would time out, but then it would say we're in the game, but we weren't really in the game. And then you try and change the fighter and it would time out, or it would say that you're changing your fighter, but actually you weren't, and then you did it with the wrong person. After you'd finished a match, there was no option to just have a rematch. There was no option to just keep playing the same person. You had to quit out to the main menu, and then you had to go back into the game to find the thing to say, I want to play multiplayer. Then you click that, and it would take you to the dashboard, where you could then invite someone to have a game, but then they had to come out of the game to accept it. But if they came out of the game for too long, then the game wouldn't work when you went back. It was honestly such a clusterfuck. It was so bad. But it was kind of worth it, because I really love those videos. They are quality videos.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of what goes on when you talk about like doing videos and stuff on the channel. Like, there's a lot of different things that come into play, and sometimes you can overthink it a bit. But I do think, I don't think we should just pick a game and do a test video and see what happens. Because I can make a thumbnail and do a little. Because I remember one thing I learned with the overlays, I didn't realize this was actually making it take ages to encode as well, is when you use PNGs that are transparent and you scale them down. Like, those faces were just scaled down, full screen transparent PNGs into the corner. And because they were being resized and they had a transparency layer, it took like 3 hours to encode the video.
Yeah.
even if it was 20 minutes long. And I never knew why that was the case. And I always just used to leave it. And then one day, I think I deleted the fake. You know when you get media offline in Premiere?
Yeah.
I moved the faces somewhere so it didn't know where there was, and I clicked encode it, and it came up with like 30 something minutes. I was like, why is this so fast now? And then I realized what I'd done. But it was still slow because I had to wait for you to send me the video, and then I had to edit the video, which would take ages as well because of all the overlays and shit that needed to be. Like every time the video was done, that intro at the start had to be fucking redone because all the numbers had to be changed, and it was such a pain in the ass. Anyway, what other games have you been playing, son?
Well, I've played going back to the RTS theme from Dune and Command and Conquer. I have played. Well, I suppose one of them is technically an RTS.
I have played.
It's that weird Defend the Highlands game, which was sent to me for Steam Gift Gamble, where are you
defending Scotland against England or something?
It's defending Scotland's pubs against the English, the Irish, and I think maybe it is just the English and the Irish. Maybe the Welsh turn up at some point, but I never got that far. Yes, there is. I think there is Welsh actually. It's your typical kind of budget Unity game off Steam, but something that I will say for it is it's got more effort put into it than most of the games I've seen.
Wow, and that's rare, man. That's rare.
It's genuinely like at the very start. It tells you how to control the camera and select your units and something. It's like really basic shit. Everyone already knows it, but I haven't come across another game that someone sent me for the Steam Gift Gamble that has done that so far, and this one did. Not only that, but it's fully voiced over. So, like, the guy's telling you how to control the units, and then you do it, and he goes, okay, nice one, and this is how you do this. And it cuts it off. So there's obviously been some effort put into it. Unfortunately, it's still just a stupid, like, RTS cross tower defense thing, which involves Scotsmen throwing porridge at leprechauns and English guys with cricket bats. But it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, and to the guy's credit, instead of releasing it and then not ever touching it again, he is actually updating it and attempting to make it what I would class as a proper game, which is still, like... I'm happy to hate on people for releasing shit games, because sometimes you just got to, ain't you, bloke? But I'm also perfectly happy to say...
They need to be hated on.
The game might not be great, but at least you're attempting to make it okay. Like, there are too many people that will release a shit game and then go, oh, well, it was only this much, who cares, lol, get out of my face. Or they'll get really defensive and say it's brilliant and they won't work on it. I mean, look at Jim Sterling's feud with Digital Homicide for examples of that. I mean, their games are terrible. But their response to people saying the games are terrible is, oh, well, fuck you, what do you know? Whereas, I'm not suggesting this guy who made this Defend the Highlands is anything like Digital Homicide, but people said there are problems with this game. What the hell is this about? And he's gone, okay, I'll fix it. I'm perfectly happy to give respect to people who are actually attempting to fix stuff that they put up for sale, as opposed to just put it up and forget about it and hope that people buy it, which is, let's face it, a lot of what happens on Steam now, sadly. It's like people joke about how Greenlight's got out of hand and how there's all these...
Just so easy to get games on there, isn't it?
It is. It's way too easy. And people just put stuff up and then go, oh, lol, it's just my first game ever, but it's also £5, fuck you if you bought it. And then you never hear from them again, except when they release another shit game. So if you're prepared to work on it and alter things, then even if I don't like the game, I can still give you a bit of respect for at least giving it a try and not being an arsehole about it and trying to make it better than what it is. So, the other,
hang on, let me go.
All right, go on, sir.
I wanted to play Until Dawn, but I don't have it. Sony were meant to be giving it me, but they didn't. So I wanted to, but I didn't. Xbox was supposed to be giving me Gears of War Ultimate Edition or something. I played the original Gears of War and I remember enjoying it, but I don't think it's aged very well given the reviews I'd seen on it and the comments people were making. But I still would have liked to have played that for myself, but as I say, they haven't given it to me and I'm too cheap to buy it. The reason why I'm too cheap to buy it is because I'd like to play it, but I'm not too sure what I'd do with it on the YouTube channel because I don't think it really fits on Unit Lost. You know, I maybe would mess around streaming it or something. I don't know. But I played a mobile game. Now, this was a sponsored deal on the channel. It was called Super Awesome Quest, and the name's terrible. It's a mobile game. I was just like, okay, I'll take a look at it. You want to pay me? Sure, that's fine. I'll fully disclose that to my fans, and I will. And to be credit to them, they were just like, whatever. Do what you like. Right. And it reminded me why I don't play mobile games. Because I don't go anywhere to play them. So, mobile games, like...
I know exactly what you mean when you said that.
This game was addictive. Yeah, and there are loads of games like this. They're addictive. It was just like it was like Darkest Dungeon, okay? But instead of you having abilities that you cast and you cast them in sequence, it's like a little kind of puzzle tile reveal game where you have to like reveal the tiles, and if you get the same tiles next to each other, it'll combo that ability and it'll do more damage. So you have to like gamble. It's like, do you want to attack now with what you can see, or maybe just check this square? Maybe there'll be something better under it, or go whatever. But that whole mobile gaming thing, where I said in a video on that, if I was on a train somewhere, it'd be a decent game. If I got public transport somewhere every morning, it would be a decent game. If I got the tube in London and went somewhere on a 20-minute tube ride, that would be... These mobile games, like your Clash of Clans or whatever, would be what you get out of your pocket and play. But I'm never in that situation. So for me, I'm like, so where's my phone going off? Anyway, you like in my mind, if somebody spammed me on Twitter, in my mind, it's like I associate my iPad and like my phone with contacting people, using Twitter and like Facebook now to some extent, and reading websites and reading the BBC News app. And on my iPad, I've watched Netflix. It's the only difference. I don't, or like I've watched Twitch maybe on it sometimes. I don't play games on them, and it's not fair because there are some really good games. There's games like Monument Valley and things like that, and I've got a complete setup to record iPad games, and I kind of would like to. But what puts me off them is I feel like if I started making videos on them that were obviously not like paid sponsored videos or whatnot, they're not games I would play. Like the whole idea of a paid sponsored video is they're trying to just get their game out to an audience that wouldn't play their games. That's why it makes sense for it to be on our channel in that regard. But would I but Monument Valley, I maybe would. And there's things like 80 Days and something other. In fact, I can just look. Hang on. App Store's different to iTunes, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I actually ended
what do you
up
think?
Getting Infinity Blade 3.
Oh, I've got that. Yeah.
After you did a video on it, which again, I think that was it was sponsored, wasn't it?
I don't know. Can't remember.
Oh, I
think so. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
But I ended up getting that based off that video, and a couple of times when me and my wife went to London, I played that on my iPad, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's not like massively complicated. It's not like what I'd normally play on the PC. But like you say, for traveling somewhere, for doing the commute and stuff, it's perfectly good. Like, I think one of the problems as well is that I find it very easy to look at like an iPad game and compare it directly to a PC game. And it's like, why would I play that when I can play this? But it's like, I cannot take my desktop on the fucking train with me and play Dragon Age Origins. That's not possible. That's not... I mean, I could get a gaming laptop, yeah, but I wouldn't, use it enough, and it would be a massive amount of money.
So
I've got a desktop at home
thing.
Anyway, so
here's another thing as well. If I but this is feasible. If we started like getting invited to places all over the place, which does happen when YouTube channels get bigger. If we started taking plane rides to fucking God knows where every now and again, you'd want some sort of entertainment on the plane. But like, I don't know what I would do. Like, I don't know whether I don't think I would play games on my iPads because I've got a Vita, which is like better at games. But iPad games are okay. But then it's like, would I really carry a Vita with me as well? Probably not. I'd be like, would I even take the iPad? Probably not. I'd just have my phone. And it's like, I mean, I'm looking now through the top list of games we've got at the moment, and we've got Minecraft Pocket Edition, which to be fair is pretty good. I'll give them that. Yeah. Fantasy Premier League, which is football, which is going to be there because it's iPhones, isn't it? Something called Heads Up. I don't know what that is. But then you've got Storage Hunters. Now, I've seen somebody play this, and it's stupid. I mean, have you seen Storage Hunters on Discovery?
I haven't seen it yet, no.
No. So what this is like, there's a load of different versions of it. It's like one of those things which became like, it was Storage Hunters. Now there's like Storage Hunters UK, and then whatever.
Is that one there's that bald guy, and he's got a jacket that says staff on the back, and he's like, they have like auctions, and he knows all the people. It's all like every single auction, no matter where it is attended by exactly the same people.
Yeah, so what happened?
Like really badly staged.
Well, no, it wasn't originally, but it is now, obviously. What it was is this guy and his wife are mobile storage room auctioneers, yeah? I mean, how you would decide this is going to be your job, I don't know. And what they do is they go around to storage facilities around America, yeah? And if you haven't paid your bill, then the company just confiscate the unit, don't they? So they just take everything. And these guys turn up, the bald guy, and I think he's got a wife. The wife like opens the unit and it's like, oh, look what's in. And he goes, it's like, it's totally stupid. But it's always the same people who travel America for like to buy these things. Because it's like, it's that age old thing, isn't it? Like you can spend $800 on a unit, but make $10,000.
Yeah.
And then the program's like, yeah, I've bought this unit and oh, it looks like complete shit. But then at the back, there was this ancient Rolex and it was worth $100,000. And they're like taking it round to me. It's like, oh my God, it's like totally, it's over the top and stupid. But the app takes the piss out of it. And it's pretty funny because you're one of the bidders. But it's so blatantly obvious, like when one of the containers is worth a load of money, it'll have like a crazy African mask in the back corner, or something like that. It's like, oh, so you bid. It's like, oh, it's just fucking stupid. But it's not, it isn't really a game. It's just stupidness. Like you just spam it. We should make a video on it. I laughed about it before and said we should have made a video on it because it's dead funny. The guy makes me laugh as well when he does it. It's stupid. You've got driving theory test for the UK drivers. I don't know why that's a game, but that's the thing.
It's not a game, is it?
Monopoly.
What happens if you fail in that one? You can't take your test. It's just,
yeah. Farming simulators on here. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's, I think, is available on fax machines at this point.
Just a different. It's a strange world. I mean, like I said, I was paid to make that video, so what I say, don't take it as, wow, Sty thinks the game's good. Just go and watch the video, and all I do is play the game. But for what it was, I think I could waste time on that style of game. Like I like those like management games as well, like your football managers and stuff. If you were sitting on if I was having to commute a fairly long distance every day, it would be pretty good. If I wasn't driving, because if I was driving, that would be dodgy.
Fallout Shelter as well is another one. It's
that's another one. Yeah.
It's nothing particularly complicated, but it's all right for what it is. It's a good little time waster.
Hats off to the Elgato HD60 as well. That thing is way better than the AVerMedia capture card for capturing off the iPhones and iPads and stuff, because it picks the audio up through the HDMI. Because you have to have a Lightning to HDMI converter cable, which costs 50 quid from Apple. And then you plug your HDMI into it, straight into the Elgato, it captures the sound as well. Before, you had to use an aux audio jack. A 3.5 millimeter to 3.5 millimeter to get the audio out, and then plug it into your computer and fuck about with all that shit. But you don't with that, so that's pretty good. Come on then, bloke. Dawn of War. Tell me, give it me. What's happening?
Yeah. Well, I was sat there and I was like, I want to play Dawn of War Dark Crusade. I played the campaign once. Like I played Dawn of War 2 and all of that.
I don't think I've ever played it. Well, I've played it, but I don't think I've completed it. From what I remember, it's just one of those, you just select the regions to attack, don't you?
Yeah. I only went through it once, and I think it might have been with Imperial Guard, thinking about it. But like Dawn of War 2, I played the campaign over and over. I did the same with Chaos Rising and with Retribution. I just played though. I mean, Retribution is just stupid. I've completed the campaign with every single race at this point on the hardest difficulty, which is a bit crazy, but I just really like the game. I was like, I want to play Dark Crusade again. And I loaded it up, and I just loaded it up and went, I should just record this. Why am I not recording this? This could be... I'm just going to do it. So I just randomly decided that I wanted to play the game. I wanted to record it, make a Let's Play out of it, and it's actually really enjoyable. Like, I'm really liking it. I'll always maintain that I prefer Dawn of War 2 to Dawn of War 1, because Dawn of War 1 is... And I know exactly why it is. Dawn of War 1 is more traditional RTS, and I am better at the Dawn of War 2 style of RTS. I just am. I'm better with small squad sizes.
Do you think you're better when there's less to control? When it's like, if I just say to you, there's 5 units here and you've got to control them. But
yeah, I'm way better. I'm way better at managing the units. Why? Because it's a combination of the units themselves are small. I mean, I know they've got abilities, but I find it a lot easier to focus on which abilities belong to which unit and when I should use them. The cover system, I was going to say it's kind of forgiving, but in a way it's not, because it's too easy to use it as a crutch. Like, one of the things that you could see quite often you used to see quite often with Dawn of War 2 is people would stick like Devastators behind cover and then just leave them there regardless of what happened, because, they're behind cover, so they're fine. I quite like players like that, because it's really easy to get round cover, and if you know what you're doing, you can outflank really easily, and I was good at doing that. For me, with the traditional RTS model, one of the problems is the combination of base building and fighting all the time. I can fight all the time, or I can build a base. I cannot do both. Like, I'm just not very good at both. I've tried playing StarCraft 2 for God's sake, and I was in Wood League for the entire time I tried.
Yeah, that's like the worst example of any game to play. That we should totally make a video of you just playing that, and I'll just laugh at you because I'll be just as bad.
We've already made one of them.
Yeah,
just it was the Face Off Friday.
No, I just want to watch you play ranked against someone.
No one wants to see that. But with Dawn of War 2, I find it a lot easier because you haven't got the aspect of base building, but you have got the aspect of managing your squads and having the different upgrades on the squads and stuff. I can keep track of that, and I can adapt a lot quicker to like changing conditions during the game than I can with a traditional RTS. That said, I still really enjoy Dark Crusade playing it. It's just, it might have the base building aspect, and that might throw me occasionally because I'm like, oh shit, which building do I need for this? But it's still just a really enjoyable game. They nailed a lot of the stuff that I really like about 40k. I still think it's daft that you can make like 80 assault marines, but when you're fighting the Imperial Guard, like there's this will have come out by the time you're watching this. I got mobbed by a ton of Imperial Guard, and they responded to my use of tacticals and dreadnoughts with sentinels that had like las cannons and stuff, and they made a load of plasma weaponry as well, which are good against space marines because of the armor. And I nearly lost, and I was like, "What the hell is going? I can't even push these back. What the fuck's going on?" And then I just suddenly realised, oh yeah, hang on, it's because they're really shit in close combat, so I just need more close combat. I'll just build more assault marines, that'd be fine. And it worked. But the thing is, it's still like, I had to do the thing I don't like, which is spam out units that you shouldn't be able to spam a load out of. But it's still just a quality game. Like, the sound design is really good, the race design is really good, the Space Marines feel like Space Marines, even if there's a few too many of them. The Imperial Guard, like, they will wreck you from range with just masses of firepower, because there's loads of squads. They've all got plasma guns. Like, there's like 4 plasma guns per squad if you get the upgrade. There's squads of like 10, 15 guys, and there's like 4 squads of those. They manage to get, surround you and start shooting the shit out of you. You'll get a Tech Priest engine seer will come in and drop a bunker or something down, or a turret, and the Imperial Guard turrets are solid compared to Space Marine ones. Like, they're really heavily fortified, and they can drop down, I believe they can drop down either bolter or anti-tank without having to do the upgrade, so you can just call in an anti-tank one. So if you've gone in with a couple of dreadnoughts, then you've just lost your dreadnoughts, because now there's literally an anti-tank bunker sat behind massive infantry. And you can, like, at first I was like, oh shit, I might actually lose this is quite bad. But because it's proper 40k, I just went close combat mental, because Imperial Guard can't deal with it. They just get wrecked because they have no close combat capabilities, because they're just puny humans. You've got the Ogryn, ain't
they? Can't they build the Ogryn?
They did build the Ogryn, but I built the teleport beacon, the orbital relay, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, so you can deep strike Terminators.
So I already had the Terminators built, and the Terminators build out of the chapel barracks once you've upgraded enough. So I dropped in assault Terminators into the Imperial Guard, which they didn't like because they just can't kill them. They just get ruined. And I dropped normal Terminators in and shot the Ogryns to pieces, because you can give them a couple of assault cannons. And I started dropping dreadnoughts in with drop pods, and I dropped like 4 dreadnoughts in, 2 close combat and 2 range, and every time one of them died, I had another one ready to go. So it was like an endless reign of dreadnoughts, which is obviously stupid. But I've kind of decided that although it's daft and you have way more stuff than you should be able to have access to,
it is fun though. Yeah,
it's still really
Dawn of War
fun.
2 is a bit too serious sometimes. It's like, it still is daft in the way that it still doesn't represent the numbers correctly, but and the feel of some races. But it's like, when you compare them, it's weird because they're both good, but they're both different. So you can't say one's better than the other one. Like, I like them both. Like, I could play them both. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've always said I prefer Dawn of War 2, but I don't think I'd ever say that Dawn of War 2 is a better game, because they're different games. They just are. It's like,
well, I remember you played Dawn of War. We played I think it was Dark Crusade, or it might have been Soulstorm, and we used the it was Imperial Guard versus Imperial Guard, I think, or something. No, you were Chaos, thinking I was Imperial Guard.
Yeah,
and it was just like an endless war of attrition. And I had like this Baneblade that just never died. And it was, and I had like shitloads of fortification, and you'd come in with a massive attack, and it just would make no difference because I'd just move all my army there and wipe them out. And then the losses would be too much for me, so I'd start repairing. But I was so well protected, I just couldn't be killed.
Yeah,
but you would
but
just
if
keep
you
attacking me.
tried to,
Yeah,
because if you tried to attack me in the open, I could kill you because you didn't have the
yeah, because I
fortifications.
needed the
It's just
turrets.
like
Yeah, because my
endless.
guys would just die to all the
Yeah.
fucking close combat shit. Apart from the Baneblade, that wouldn't die because nothing kills that. It just
Yeah.
drives around.
I'm tempted once I'm done with Dark Crusade to do Soulstorm because I never played the campaign for
Well,
Soulstorm.
it is a thing. This can be a new little thing at the end of podcast. What games do you want to play? What games are you going to play?
Well,
Then we can see if you play them next week.
We've got one more game to talk about before we do that, though. That we played together, which hopefully the vid should have been out on Thursday before Hotfix.
Oh yeah, Trine.
Yeah, Trine 3. Which we ended that video in a really, I guess, unsatisfactory way because we said make your own minds up whether it's worth it, but I still don't know whether it is. I switched positions like 4 times at the end of that video because I was kind of warring with the fact that some stuff that's missing shouldn't be missing, and I don't like the fact that it's missing. But on the other hand, it isn't the same game as Trine 2. Like, it is, but it's not because it's got like different
fairly
elements.
Similar.
And
yeah, it's fairly similar to Dawn of War, isn't it? Really, how it changed.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, I think I would actually like to go back and play more Trine 3. I think that's the crux of it. I would like to go back and play more.
Yeah, I think it's playable. I think it is playable, but the problem with it is when you've experienced Trine 2 and then you experience Trine 3, you ask yourself questions like, why is this 3D? Well, when you first see the game, it's like, oh, it's 3D, cool, okay. But then when your abilities don't actually really work all the time,
in 3D.
Like when you're trying to fire the bow with the archer woman, and it's just like, sometimes it will go where you want it to go, other times it won't, because you've got a 2D plane targeting a reticule in a 3D world. So you'd think, oh, I'm going to fire at that. No, it actually goes miles away, and it means you misjudge things, and it's going to mean that at some point in the game that's going to kill you, and you're going to be angry. But it still looks nice. It's just all they've done is gone, we need to do something, because if we release Trine 3 and it's just the same as before, then people are just going to be like, it's the same game as before. But honestly, I think they could have done that if they just made it a longer game or something, or just put some more puzzles in it. It would have been fine. I think it would have been. Because this is like an ideal game for the consoles, you know. It must be on console release, but it would have been ideal if it was 2D. Well, it's not 2D, it's 3D in a 2D world, wasn't it? Like,
yeah.
But now it's fully 3D and just doesn't work as good. And the abilities are not as good, are they? Like you said with the box, the wizard guy could summon different sized boxes. Like you could draw the size of the box, couldn't you, on the in Trine 2? But in Trine 3, you just summon a box.
Not an option anymore. It's just gone.
And
you
the shield
make a
guy
ramp
can't
as
put
well.
his shield above his head, can he?
With the wizard, so you could like lean it up against stuff and people could run up it.
Could make shapes, couldn't he? Like triangles and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to play some more of it, but I don't. It hasn't grabbed me as much as Trine 2 did. But it still looks really good, and it's still the same world. And I think
it's definitely Trine when you look at it. You're like, whoa, like you're on LSD, and everything's all psychedelic, baby. Yeah, baby, yeah.
But I think you're still gonna have to make your own minds up because I think it's one of those things where you won't know until you actually. It sounds bad, but I don't think you'll know until you either see it or try it, because
I got out of it cheap, didn't I? I said if you've never played Trine before and you just bought Trine 3 for some reason, you'd think, oh, this is fairly good.
Yeah.
But if you played Trine 2, then you play Trine 3, you're going to be, this isn't as good. But what I would say is if you've not played any of them, buy the older ones because they'll be dirt cheap.
Yeah, I think you could actually get into it backwards though. I think you could get into it by playing Trine 3 and you'd be fine with it, and then actually going to Trine 2, despite the fact you'd lose the 3 degrees of movement. You know what I mean? And it would be 3 degrees. It would have like
3-dimensional movement.
I meant to say dimensional, but I said degree instead. Like, if you went backwards, you'd lose that 3D aspect, but you'd gain a lot more. Like you'd gain collision, and you'd gain like more abilities for the wizard, and you'd gain talents and stuff. So
there was better ways of working together, wasn't there, with the different heroes as well?
It's almost like you need to go in backwards. You need to do Trine 3 first, and Trine 2 will feel like overall an upgrade to the one that came after it, which is not the way around it should be. But they both look pretty much. Like in terms of how good they both look really good. So there wouldn't be any sort of downgrade for that. But yeah, it's a weird one, Trine 3. So go on, what are you going to play next week then?
Well, hopefully I'll have until dawn then, which will be interesting. Metal Gear Solid is one next week. I think there's other games as well. Like I've just totally forgot the releases of games.
I'm
Yeah,
exactly
on
the same.
Tuesday, Metal Gear Solid should come out. There's also like I said it on the hotfix, but Elite Dangerous is something that I do want to just mess about on. I don't think I'm going to
Yeah.
play it, but I think I'm going to mess about on it. I suppose I'll probably play a bit of World of Warcraft at some point. Although my relationship with that, it's kind of become like I'm only playing it really late at night. Like it's almost like instead of watching Netflix or something, I'm just sitting down and I'll just run like a couple of instances, and I'm happy with that because I'm still leveling insanely fast. And at some point, I think I'll be maybe close to your level, or we'll at least join up at some point, and then get to the end game. Then it'll be all right. Then it'll be ready for Legion, which is basically the whole point of that. World of Warships, which you played the other day, that kind of made me feel like I did want to play that a bit more. But when I look at like my time slots, it's like WoW has sort of taken that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like Armored Warfare as well. This is I enjoy that game. I've not played it for ages because I've been playing World of Warships or we're playing something else. It's kind of like a weird sort of like my day will be like if I'm recording stuff for the channel or I'm playing games or I'm looking at stuff for the channel, then after I've streamed, which is me playing games for the stream, later on at night, it's sort of like me time sort of thing, and I just mess around with stuff at that point.
Yeah.
Although I have bled that into sort of the stream a little bit, which I don't know whether that's working because it means the viewing figures are much lower because people don't want to watch me play World of Warcraft. They want to watch other things, so it's a little bit difficult. I guess as well there is there was another game which I forgot.
Well, Until Dawn, Metal Gear Solid 5.
No, it was an old game.
June 2000 again?
No, I might do. But there was also oh yeah, Titans for Planetary Annihilation. I sort of think I might look at that because what I tend to do, ladies and gentlemen, like I'll look at things and then I think, shit, why didn't I make a video on that? I should have made a video on Planetary Annihilation, Titans, because it was stupid that it just came out of nowhere. Now it's like maybe a little bit too late, but if you see one on the channel, I've decided to have done it by now or doing it later or whatever. From what I've read, this fixes the game and it makes the game good and it's not shit no more. And that's what the game should have been. I'm not too hot on the fact I've got to pay 10 quid for the privilege of this, but
yeah,
I want that game to be good, and I'm sort of in a stupid position where I know they're shit at Kickstarter, and I know what they've done was terrible, and I know what they've done. Well, I say they're shit at Kickstarter, their attitude towards it. It's been questionable and blah, blah, blah. But it's still a game that I wanted, and I don't know. Like it introduces a load of units, introduces super units, introduces other little bits and pieces, introduces some different environments to play on and stuff, and that's great. It also gives you a tutorial, so it explains things that I didn't know you could do. Like you can hold down Shift, I think it is, and left click, and it drags out a circle, like it did in Supreme Commander. In fact, I think I knew it did this actually. I think I might have done this by like when you could select engineers in Supreme Commander, you could hold down. I think it was Control or Shift and left click and drag, and it would make a circle. And that entire area would be plastered then with mass extractors. So instead of clicking on them individually, you could do that in Planetary Annihilation. I think I may have worked that out before and then forgot, but I seen a video of somebody playing the tutorial and it showed you. And I'm like, well, you said, why the hell wasn't there a tutorial in the fucking game anyway? It's so stupid. Oh, by the way, is a tutorial and expansion. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's sort of like dodgy. And I'm sure there was some other stuff as well. Let me just have a look because there was a game called Party Hard which I was looking at, which I might play. It's from the guys who made No Time to Explain, which I didn't like, which is weird. I didn't like that game.
I didn't
and
like
I also,
that game at all.
I didn't like I didn't like that other game, bloke. The game. Oh.
I can't help you there.
No, it's in my head. I can see it, bloke. But but everybody loved it, and I didn't like it. Okay, moving on. Moving on.
Thomas was alone. I just picked that random.
No, it was something else. Wow, I've lost my mind.
Is that are you googling it, trying to work out what it was?
Because this is what I generally do. What I'm going to do, right, is I've got a whiteboard, and I'm going to get that sent over here, and I'm going to have that on the wall, so I can be all professional, man. So I know what I'm doing, because I get like too much information all over the place, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Jesus Christ, where was it? Satellite Rain, that was it. Satellite Rain, that's what I'm going to play, because this is spiritual successor to Syndicate. And I was like, holy shit, I need to get this in my life. Yeah. And I went to email them, but they'd already sent me a key a year ago, because it's in early access, and it was like really bare bones, but I think that's dead close to launch in a couple of days. That is what I want. Stasis as well, that is another one I was looking at. You like this game? You made a video on it.
Yeah, Stasis was pretty good.
Although I think this is the end of August. This comes out.
I want to take another look at that, because I did enjoy that.
Yeah, so that was pretty good.
In fact, I think that's still in my account. So if I've 4 days and 4 hours.
Yeah. 31st of August. Yeah.
I'll take a look at that when it releases, because that was actually a really good little preview they gave.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a horror game, isn't it? In space, like an isometric psychological thing.
Yeah. I don't usually do horror games, but it kind of it grabbed me. It had a really good atmosphere to it. Like it wasn't like overtly like, oh, look at all the scary stuff. It was a lot more subtle, and I kind of prefer that kind of thing.
Active Aggression comes out as well fairly soon, September-ish.
Yeah, I don't think there's
2nd of September.
Major changes to that, but when it comes out,
population. Ranked matchmaking. That's what I'm looking forward to on that 1v1. I want to play it 1v1 and just see how it plays, because I played it 1v1 and smashed the shit out of somebody, and then I played like a group game and beat everyone, and I just thought I must have been playing against people who were cabbages, because I'm not that good. I mean, I'm okay, but I'm not like the fucking legend of RTS gaming. But I think that's basically it. That's coming up in the next.
I want to play the single player for Active Aggression.
Days. Yeah.
I do like. I'm a big sucker for single player campaigns. I do still really enjoy them.
I think they released a teaser, like a little Chinese hacker woman, Yang Yao or something. She's like some sort of international internet super terrorist or something who's going to bleed the internet dry. It just sounded stupid, but like, who cares? I don't care if it's stupid. Yeah, but yeah, I think the big one is probably Metal Gear Solid, because everybody will be playing that, and it'll be interesting to see what that's like. Because my experience with Metal Gear Solid is not the best. Like, I mean, I remember playing the first one. Well, I say the first one. I think there was one, like a 2D one or something. The PS1 Solid Snake one thingy. I played that one with Metal Gear, and then is it Metal Gear Rex or something?
Yeah.
And then I think I played a bit of Metal Gear 2.
Because Metal Gear 2 was the one with Raiden, wasn't it? The first one.
I think it was. Yeah.
Guns of the Patriots, was it called, or Patriot something?
That's that. I think that was like 2010, but I've not played that, because that's PS3. Anything PS3 era, it just was nothing. I'm sure Metal Gear Solid 2 was.
I thought that was on
PS2, wasn't it?
PS2, yeah. PS Solid, Metal Gear Solid.
PS 2. Solid, mate. You see,
and it came out on Sons of Liberty. That's it, because it came out on PC as well. I had it on PC.
Yeah.
And I think I updated my computer to another operating system, and it just never worked again because it was like really shittily done.
Yeah, because I remember playing this at my mates. I played this at my mates because I didn't have a PlayStation 2, but but then I never played any other ones, and I played Revengeance, and then I played the demo for Ground Zeroes, which is a strange name, but that was totally stupid, because I honestly, I was like, oh, Metal Gear stealth game is mass murder simulator where I was just murdering hundreds of people, and then I found like a goddamn armored tank which I jumped in and was just driving around shooting the shit out of everybody and like blasting. It was just totally ridiculous. And then I had an undercover kid who was my undercover super special agent who'd been like mentally tortured, and then there was a woman with a bomb in a womb, but it's fine because we got the woman, saved her. The doctor on the helicopter cut the bomb out of her womb, and while she was awake, she was going, and we chucked the bomb out and it exploded. And then she gets up and then she just looks at you and goes, Snake, I've got a bomb in me. And he's like, no, he's not called Snake because he's boss and he's big boss or whatever. Yeah. I've got a bomb in me because Solid Snake was cloned from him, I think. I've got a bomb in me. And he's like, no, we've got it out of you. And then she goes, no, you missed it. And she just jumps out and explodes. He's like, what? Okay, then. It's just so fucking stupid. Now, if the game, Metal Gear Solid 5's like that, you sign me up, because I love stupid mental shit with like retarded stories that you just couldn't even make up yourself, even if you were trying to make it up, and all the rest of that.
What date are we on now?
27th.
The 27th.
Yeah, when this is recorded, yeah.
That's actually, there's actually quite a few.
The 29th, if you're watching it or listening to it, it's the 29th for you.
So I want to give Stasis a go. I want to give Mad Max a go because that's the first.
Oh
September
when's that out?
Is
it honestly?
Yeah. So
I've totally forgot about that.
We'll have to make sure we get hold of that because I really want to give that a try.
You'd have to get emailing them. Yeah, email them after this.
We actually got contacted about Company of Heroes 2, the British Forces.
Yeah.
Which was a really weird email, a bit ambiguous. So I kind of want to take a look at it, but at the same time, I know it sounds bad, but the way the email was phrased, I don't want to take a look at it on their on their grounds. I think that's the only way to put it because it was a very strange outreach. I think on their part.
A miscalculation, let's say, from them. I mean, we won't be doing that, I don't think.
Yeah, it's like I kind of want to take a look, but I don't want to. Yeah, it was not the best way to approach it, frankly.
Also, in the same way as well, there was a Warhammer one as well, which is, come down to our studios and we'll show you the game. And it's like, well, on paper that sounds good, and there'll be a load of people who will take them up on that offer, but you're still going into their studio, and at the end of the day, the most profitable thing for me would be to have gameplay footage, not just to be able to look at the game on the screen. I don't care. I want actually to be given a code for the game and whatever build it's in and play it and record it at home. So when you get those things, it's like, while it would be interesting to go, when you get an email sent which is like, an all paid for trip, it's like, but know.
The other thing, which I don't know if it's still going to, don't know whether it's been delayed to, is the Regicide single player.
The whole game's been delayed by a couple of days, I think.
Yeah, it was supposed to be out yesterday, I want to say.
I think it's like the 8th of September.
It got pushed back, which is a shame because I want to take a look at the single player for that, just to see what's going on. Basically, because it seems like a really strange concept to have a single player campaign in a chess game. But I'd really like to take a look at it, especially given the teaser trailer they put out. So yeah, and I think the other thing as well is I'll obviously play more Dark Crusade, but I think I probably will take a look at Soulstorm and see what the campaign map's like for that, because I've heard it's not as good.
I've always heard that people say it's not as good Soulstorm, but when it's got all when it's got mod support and 1080p support and all this shit,
I might have a look at it and see if I can find some mods and some 1080 stuff, and if I can get it to a point I'm happy with, I'll probably end up doing that after Dark Crusade. But I'll only be having a look to see if that's a possibility over the course of the next week. It's not really urgent because it's going to take a while for Dark Crusade to finish.
One last thing as well. I tweeted about it this morning. There's a game, and it's made from Homeworld devs, and it looks like Homeworld.
Oh, what's it called?
I'm just trying to find my tweet because I forgot what it was called. There was a little video.
Just going to go to your Twitter profile.
Yeah, just go to my Twitter page. You should be able to see it. It's
Shallow Space, that's it.
Yeah, Shallow Space. There was a video on their website. RTS Mayhem or something it's called. 46 Shallow Space RTS Mayhem. The worst title ever.
I'll just switch over to desktop so people can see this.
But look at this. This is like
480p. Get out.
Like mental ship customization and mental space warfare, and it looks really nice. Like the ships look really nice.
But it's supposed to be in 1080, but it's not loading it. There we go. That looks nice.
This isn't out there for some time, but this is like something I'll keep my eye on. I like it when things like this crop up because I like games like this.
It does just look like Homeworld, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's ex-Homeworld devs who made it.
Yeah, that is definitely worth keeping an eye on. That is.
Yeah, so I think you can there's October the 21st it comes out, so in a month, like nearly 2 months' time, which is a long way off, but it'll be interesting to see what that's like. And I don't think it's early access. It is. No, I just think it's going to launch. I don't think it's going to be early access. So
yeah, it looks like you can pre-order it, but there's no early access for it.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. To be honest,
that should be good.
I love space RTS games, especially when they're done like Homeworld, because Homeworld's quality, and Homeworld Remastered was good, even though it was Gearbox. It was alright.
One of the
Yes,
few
Mr.
things
Kirioth, but
they've
anyway,
done right.
I've got nothing less to say there.
Neither have I. I really need something to eat. Wait, I can see on the Skype call that we've been going basically for 4 hours and 20 minutes.
What it's like,
And,
ladies and gentlemen, like
I'm hungry as hell.
yeah. So like, what we do is we do hotfix and then we do Pubcast because it's easy to just do them in a batch and get them out of the way. 5 hours of talking, which it basically is, because it's like a bit before we even start. It destroys your throat. That's why I don't stream on a Thursday, because all this is recorded on a Thursday. Because I would die. My throat is already destroyed. Right now, I can feel it burning.
Actually, before I can even get
I haven't even took McGee on a walk. She's going to attack me.
I've got to fill in all of the details for hotfix. So do all the title and the tags and the description and the timestamps, and then monetize it, and then make sure it's going to go live with the right thumbnail. And it doesn't sound like a lot of work, but actually it is. It's laborious. A long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why if you enjoy this show, you should go to patreon.com/hotfix and support us. Even $1 helps.
The smoothness was off the charts. Absolutely loved it.
I'm becoming a man of marketing.
A man of marketing means with the business acumen
of a lemming.
A fiscal.
It's because I've been watching Red Dwarf. That is, they're obsessed with lemming references all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of them in Red Dwarf. You know what? I might go and watch some Red Dwarf whilst I do my Necrons. That's going to be my relaxation as well after we've finished this and I've done all the details. I
watched Gunslingers of the Apocalypse yesterday.
Oh, when Crichton tries to take on the virus and he ends up in the Wild West in his head.
Yeah, and he's like a drunkard.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
The cat turns into the Riviera Kid. Does a little dance every time.
And Rimmer's like some fisticuff legend, and he beats all those blokes up in the bar. And at the end, where they've got their face off, he's like, "Now come here, laddie," and he like walks up to him and he's. He would like to take me on in mano a mano.
He tries to take up the fence as well, doesn't he? Pulls it and he can't do it, and then he starts he tries to clap his hands to get his to get out of the VR, but it doesn't work. So he just does a dance. And he's just clapping it back.
Fucking stupid, so stupid. I mean, I've been watching them. I've been watching them quite like. They're only short episodes, and you can see like what makes me laugh is when Crichton does the fucking smeg head thing because he can't say it, and he's like, "Me."
Yeah,
it's fucking stupid. Like,
oh, it's so.
He does it in that episode where he finally gets his senses back because he's a drunkard, ain't he? And he realizes who he is.
Yeah,
and Rimmer's like, "Do you know who I am?" And he goes, "Me." And he's like, "You trying to say smeg head?" It's fucking stupid.
Oh, God. I'm actually going to go watch some of that now. I genuinely am. It's so good. I've got all of it. Like, we have the entire, every single series on DVD because, well, it's Red Dwarf and you've got to.
Well, I watched, it was ages since I watched the very early episodes. Like, because I remember, like, the Riviera Kid and all of that, and the fucking Vindaloo monster where he turns into Robocop and like the superhuman with his dead
like
Yeah. I remember all those episodes, but I don't remember the really like first series and the second series. And when I watched them, I mean, the shift to the third series is pretty dramatic because you've got the computer. Because at the end of the second series, it was the parallel universe one where the other Red Dwarf appeared, and that had Holly as the computer, who's the computer basically all the way through the later series, and Lister is pregnant because he got pregnant by his his parallel universe female thing, and because he was in their universe, men could get pregnant, and he's laughing at him, but he's pregnant, but you just don't. There's no babies, but they even reference that in later series. They say things like Lister's like, and I've even had 2 babies, like, and he's reeling off what's happened to him. But it's like, you haven't though, Lister, because it never happened.
The gap between the 2 series, they do like a Star Wars style scrolling text.
But
it's sped up really quick, so you just can't read it. It just goes straight up. And it's all explained in it. Like, they make up stupid explanations for the lot, but then they just take the piss and make it too quick to read. Tell you what, as well, before we go, I learned something the other day. They're making a Dad's Army film. Now, it is 2015 right now.
The
film comes out
dead.
in 2016.
Okay.
The cast are all dead, right?
About 50 years ago, they all died.
Yeah, it's Dad's Army was
Captain
an old
Mannering
show.
and somebody else. Yeah.
I watched the trailer for it, which I shouldn't have done because it made me angry.
To be fair, it's pretty funny. Dad's Army is, even though it's dead old.
It is. It's really good. But the problem is that I think some shows just need to be left. Like they shouldn't come back. They just should be left alone because the first like iteration of the show was the perfect version of the show, and Dad's Army is that show because it's like, for a start, it's about the Home Guard in like World War Two, World War One. Is it World War One? I think it's World War One.
No, World War
no,
Two.
World War Two.
No, it's two. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. There's the
because it's all the decrepit old men who can't go to war, and they just they're really jumped up, aren't they, about their fucking position, which is like nothing. Yeah,
there was a thing where they talked about doing a World War One, but they didn't have the Home Guard in the same capacity that they had in World War Two. Like it was called a different thing, and it wasn't quite as widespread. So it's like it's a bunch of old guys who live in the same kind of area who all join the Home Guard, which is like basically if you couldn't go to the front lines to fight, but you still wanted to be in some way involved in the defense, you joined the Home Guard because that was like the only thing you could possibly do. And they're all like incompetent and stupid and jumped up, and like Captain Mannering is the manager of a bank, and he's like an idiot and doesn't know what he's doing, but he thinks he's really important. But all of the casting they nailed with the actual people who did it the first time round. So Captain Mannering, the guy who played him, Arthur Lowe, he is Captain Mannering because for like the last God knows how many years, like what? How old is that show now?
Got to be 60s, isn't it? Is it 60s it was made? Might even be early 60s.
You have a quick come here, Wikipedia. You'll tell me, won't you?
68.
68. Yeah. So for like 40, 50 years, this has been the cast of Dad's Army, and it didn't change. Like it just didn't change. It was the same cast from when it started, pretty much until it finished. It might have had a few minor characters switch out and stuff, but the core group are all exactly the same. So when I saw the film trailer, I was like, for a start, the humor's been dumbed down really badly because at one point Captain Mannering runs away from a cow because the cow mooed at him. Yeah. Which is not something that ever happened in any of the shows. It's like he wasn't cowardly; he was just incompetent.
He was just incompetent. Yeah,
that was
stupid.
That was the joke. It was like the joke was these guys are really brave, but they're also really, really incompetent. Like whatever they touch falls apart. That's the basis of the show. It's not.
And it was almost played on like that. That was one of the reasons why they're in the Home Guard as well.
Yeah,
they shouldn't. Even if they could go to the front line, these guys should not be on the front line.
Yeah, yeah. And it was
cause a disaster. It's not like the idiots go, "Oh, this is my gun. Do I look down the barrel?"
Exactly. And they had a couple of episodes where like it was really played up the fact that they're daft and they don't know what they're doing, but they are inherently brave and they're trying to protect the country. Like they had ones where there's an episode where the Germans land in I think it's Warmington on Sea.
Yeah, it was a made up place, wasn't it, or something?
And and they land there.
Who do you think
and
you
they
are
take
kidding,
shelter.
Mr. Hitler?
They take shelter in a church. And so the Home Guard are like the only ones who can respond to this. And so they do. And it's like their plan is stupid, but they still do it, even knowing that there's a good chance that they could get killed by the Germans in the church. But they carry it out and they manage to capture them. So they might be incompetent, but they still actually did it. And I think, was it the last episode? It was one of the last episodes they made. They were in a position where they thought that the Germans were about to invade, and they were about to invade their section of the coast, and they were the only ones who could react to it. So they're there, all of them, with their guns that they've had for the last God knows how long. Half of them don't work. The uniforms are all like
ripped
eaten by
shit,
moths and ripped, and you've got Jones who's already been in one war and he's come back from Africa or wherever, and he's got his old uniform on and stuff. And they all fully expect that they're about to face a full German invasion, but the only thing they can do is try and take out a few Germans before they go. And they do it. And that's the whole point. It's like they're brave but incompetent. And then the fucking trailer for the film, the only joke in it is Captain Mannering is scared of a cow. And I'm like, fuck off. What is that? That's terrible. It's like, you can't take that humour and then just take away the things that make them respectable. Because, like, they're stupid, but they're respectable. They're idiots, but they're brave. And it's like, you can't just take that section away and go, lol, look at the funny man run away from the cow.
It's just, it's crap, but it's just like YouTube, ain't it? Where if you've got a fucking playing a game, stupid camera, screaming and shouting, it appeals more than a video which is like a more highbrow video.
Yeah,
this will appeal to like mass audiences in America, in this country and everywhere else. Because there'll be people who don't know what the hell Dad's Army is. Like, they just don't know. They won't even know what the Dad's Army, like what it was, what the Home Guard was. They'll just be like, what are these? They're just old men who are no good to go to war. And the reason why is because they're all stupid. That's what they've done. And yeah, because the actual format, I don't think would work anymore. It would just be like, what is this?
But that's the thing. I don't think that you don't.
I don't know why they brought it back. Anyway, it's weird.
It's daft, isn't it? It's like the format probably wouldn't work now, but luckily it worked when it was made, and when you watch it, because of the way it was made, it still works. You don't need to reinvent it or come up with something new for the name. I mean, it's also not. I don't understand where they think they've got the pulling power from as well. It's like this was like 1968. This started.
It? Yeah. I mean, my granddad's going to take me to see it, and he'd sit there and he'd be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, I mean, it ran to 1977. Yeah, how many young people? Which is what the humor is going to be aimed at. Let's be honest. I mean, if it's got people running away from cows, that's what it's aimed at. It's like it was one of the guys on Twitter said it was Katie. No, not Katie. But the ginger woman, the comedian woman who was in Doctor Who, the Kath something, Catherine.
Yeah, plays the chav characters.
Yeah.
It's like that stupid humor where it's just like stupid. It's like, what the hell? That's not funny because you went, or I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Whatever. Is that it? Whatever.
Like, yeah,
Catherine
like the whole,
that's it.
The whole sketch would be like Kiri saying something to me, like, "Are you please gonna go and record this video?" And I go, "Whatever," and then you go, "Are you gonna whatever?" And it'd be ha, kind of laughter. Then you go, "Tom, are you gonna do it, bloke? Do it."
Whatever.
You've got to ask me a question. I'm doing the whatever.
I need you to fill in the details for Hotfix after we finish doing
whatever.
This. No, I've got to go out. My nan's dying.
Whatever. Whatever. And then blows a bubble, I think, up.
Yeah, I know that's going to be the humor, but it's like it's not even remotely related to Dad's Army. That's what Dad's Army was.
I know, but
if it's finished in 1977, who was sitting there going, you know what? It's been 40 years, and there's been no attempt to resurrect it, but we should absolutely do a feature film of something that no one's heard anything about for 4 decades. I just where did the idea? Someone just sat there going, "Oh shit, Dad's Army was a thing. We could do something with that." And everyone around them, instead of going, "Mate, it's been 40 years, mate."
mate.
They've gone, "Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Go for it." What the fuck? Anyway, that's my angry anti-fucking Hollywood rant. Absolutely disgusts me. But it did cause me to go and buy the entire box set from Amazon, which was only 20 quid. So, there's upsides to everything.
Terminator Salvation did really shit, but then it went to China and made a shitload of money. Now it's the 3rd highest grossing film ever, or something. This year. Or something.
How?
I don't know. Chinese like it for some reason. They're like Arnie.
It was probably set in China somewhere, wasn't it? They're doing that a lot now. They're setting vast.
You think I'm going to watch it?
Well, no. I mean, they're setting vast set pieces in Chinese cities because then they watch it, whereas before they wouldn't.
You mean like an entire expansion on a game based around a creature that a country idolizes that's got billions of population? On that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Pubcast, and we will see you
next time.
Maybe again. Goodbye.